all sorts of other things, right? And so they're integral parts of the American society. So losing them is detrimental to our society. So I can simultaneously agree that we should make sure we have a secure border,
right?
That we should make sure people that that came here, make sure that people that came here that are sorry, how do I say this? I'm freaking losing my train of thought here quick.
I got
sorry.
you.
The people that are already here, for the most part, should be staying here.
Yeah.
The people, new people coming in is not necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, and I acknowledge that it's an issue that it's already here. We have 11 million people here, and to think that we can just strip 11 million people from whatever they're doing now and deport them all like that is crazy. And I agree that like that's a problem. My thing is that another thing I guess I support Trump on, which I don't support him on a ton of stuff, but is the increased spending for border security, because I think that has been an issue. So although ICE has done a lot of questionable stuff, like I think it's fucking crazy the way they go masked up and shit. Like I don't support that, especially if it was somebody in my neighborhood. I would probably care a lot more, like somebody I saw. But my thing is like the way we don't have proper enforcement. So if someone's been here for a week illegally, they should be deported, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But if they're here 10 years, now it's a big issue.
Oh yeah, so it's a big issue because, well, one, we could have had increased border security in 2023, but the only reason we don't have it is because Donald Trump stopped it. Yeah. So if you're saying you wanted security, the only reason that Donald Trump is even able to fix border security is because Donald Trump broke border security.
Right, and I think that, I'm not going to fight you on that. I really don't know enough about it. I'm just saying, like, what he's doing now as far as increasing the spending, I'm kind of like, yeah, okay. But furthermore, the whole Epstein thing, like, that's bullshit. He needs to put that out. Even his own, like, staunchest supporters believe that. So, I think there's a lot of things that I'm on the fence with, and that's definitely what I'm not. He should definitely release that stuff. So,
well, I think if you voted for Donald Trump to release the Epstein files, then I'm sorry to let you know that you're having a real bad day, because Donald Trump is like best friends with Epstein. So why would he release
I hope you
files?
Don't hang up on me, but I didn't vote either way this election, and you'll probably blame me for that. But
well, why would you not vote?
The honest answer is that I felt like if I voted for Kamala, I was voting against, like, basically I was voting for a lot of things that were telling me I'm like a bad person. So like I work at a big corporation, so I went through a bunch of DEI trainings, and it just felt like, dang, dude, you're a racist and you don't even know it. So
DEI training doesn't teach you that you're racist. I've been through DEI training. There's never been a DEI training that says you're racist.
Well, there was one where I worked. It was about a flower.
Well, whoever is doing your DEI training is not qualified to do DEI training. Second of all, there was never a federal mandate whatsoever from the left or from anybody else to make your company do DEI training. That's just something that they decided to do.
Right. But also, so exactly, well, that's true. That's the company that decides to do that. But I also happen to be from like a very progressive state, and this is like one of like the renowned health systems. So I think they do have some sort of government influence. But essentially what I'm trying to get at is the reason I didn't vote for Kamala is because I just thought there was too much shit that I wasn't in line with. And then the reason I didn't vote for Trump is because I knew he's a fucking psycho. So it's
but hold on, but you're saying there's so much stuff that you weren't aligned with. Like, is DEI your only example of that? Because if it is,
no.
Then what else? Because
so there was, and I'm not trying to be like a crazy person here, but there was stuff that like, why are you in support of like something to do with transgender operation or sex changes for prisoners, or saying that all 18, or what do we know about 18 to 24-year-olds? They're stupid. Even if they are, you don't fucking say that to a country.
So let's but those are two things that are, well, both taken completely out of context.
Yeah, I get that.
If you get that, then why are you saying them?
Because you don't say that as a presidential candidate.
She wasn't a presidential candidate.
Well, she was vice president, and then
no. When she said when she said the thing about the transgender people in prison. She wasn't a president or a presidential candidate. Donald Trump took one singular line from an interview she did 5 years prior to the election, and then spent the most money out of anything that he did in order to freaking say that Kamala Harris was like had this crazy thing about transgender people, when there was already laws on the book to support all of that, including laws that were on the books to support those surgeries under the Trump's first administration. Okay, so that wasn't anything abnormal. That was just something that he made up. Second of all, when she talked about the, that college kids are stupid, what she was actually referring to was herself. If you actually look at the full context of what she was saying, it was talking about herself. And the reason why she was talking about people that age being stupid is because she was doing prison reform in California. And she was saying that she didn't believe that, kids that, especially kids that grew up poor or whatever, that, made mistakes when they were 18, 19, 20 years old, that those mistakes should have to follow them for the rest of their lives. So she was actually advocating for, different prison reforms to reduce the recidivism rate, to make sure that what she called kids or young adults, college age kids, didn't make a singular mistake when they're that age and have it affect their entire rest of their life.
Yeah.
But you just said, you took that one little line out of it and made it sound like she was calling everybody stupid, when in reality she was advocating for prison reform for that age. And see, that's the problem with that type of rhetoric, when you just pull a singular line out of context to talk about stuff like that. And when you pull that singular line out of that, it makes Kamala Harris look bad. But there's nothing but yeah, I could pull any line from anybody and make anybody sound bad if you want to talk about it like that.
Isn't that politics? Isn't that what they do to each other?
Yeah, if you're dumb.
Isn't that the whole game? Well,
yeah, if you're dumb.
The left and the right. I think that's what the left and the right both do. Like, how many times do I see Donald Trump clips of him from, 20 years ago saying shit that come up? Oh, look at this new revealed thing that Donald Trump said that came out. And it's like, yeah, I get that they both do that. So
I'm talking about things you took out of giant interviews that are taken out of context. You're talking about a video of Donald Trump literally sexualizing a 10-year-old or saying that he has sex in common with his daughter, completely in context.
That's too much. I'm not talking about that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
that were on shows. I'm not talking about like that type of stuff.
The stuff that gets pulled from Donald Trump from like 10 years ago or 20 years ago is stuff where he's like, hey, I'm going to be freaking dating her in 10 years when talking to a 10-year-old. Or when asked what he has in common with his daughter, it says like I wish I could say I had sex in common with my daughter. Those weren't taken out of context. Those are real things that Donald Trump said. And that's the difference. Donald Trump said those things completely within context. Within context, though, sir. In context, he said those things. You're pulling lines completely out of context and trying to use it the same way and comparing the two.
I really am not. I think you're just going to the opposite extreme and doing exactly what you were just accusing me of.
Then give me an example.
Actually going and you just went to like the most extreme example. I didn't even say one word about what the specifics were because I really don't look into it that much.
Then give me a specific.
Headlines about it. A specific. Okay, so let's see. Like, how about his deals? Like 90 days, 90 deals. He said 90 days, 90 deals.
You said from 10, 20 years ago, sir. You didn't say from this presidency.
Okay. So from 10, 20 years ago, I don't know, the stuff that was like on the plane before the election, grab them by the pussy. Like I'm sorry.
How was that out of context?
Because people made it seem like he was like a fucking sexual predator. Are you a dude?
He is a sexual predator. He's had over 30 sexual assault allegations, and he bragged about not only that, but bragged about going.
Let's get that straight. Let's get that straight. His 34 felony convictions.
That's not 34 felony convictions, sir. That's 30 different women, sir. That is 30 different women that have accused him of sexual assault. That has nothing to do with his felonies.
Has he been? Wait. Has he been charged? Has he been charged for those 30 different women?
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Sir, if you know someone committed a sexual assault and he's been accused over 30 times, do you really need a charge in order to believe that he's a sexual predator? Because I don't.
How many? So I think you sexually assaulted 30 women. So do I need to charge you, or are you just guilty?
Sure, charge me. That's fine.
Prove it, or you're guilty.
Do you have any evidence that I have? How about this, sir? Do you even have a singular accusation against that?
Do you against Trump, besides the
Yes,
fact that
30
you're
of them.
going off
That's why I
hearsay
said
of
it.
living?
There was 30 different
Okay.
accusations by
And
30
none of them
different
have been
women,
substantiated.
all of which he paid off.
And none of them have been actually tried in court. So whether
Sir,
you think it's true or not,
again,
that's not how the American justice system
sir,
works.
I'm not,
So,
I don't, I'm not talking about the
it's
American
that's a
justice
lie.
system. You're the only
It's
one
a
talking
lie.
about, sir, you're the only one talking about the American justice system. I'm not.
Okay.
See,
So let's
so,
get past
sir,
that,
let me ask you a
since
question. Let
he's
me ask you a
obviously
question.
not
Hold
been
on, hold on,
charged,
hold on,
so
hold
you
on.
can say he
Let
is,
me
but
ask
he
you a
hasn't been
question.
charged.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're both driving down the road on a street. Okay.
Yeah.
And I hit
Yep.
you with my car.
Okay.
Okay. Or you allege that I hit you with my car. And that I hit you with my car, right? Into your car. And you
Yep.
want damages paid. Okay, for that car.
Yep.
Okay. What do? Because the insurances won't do it. So you feel like you have to sue me, right? You want to sue me
Yeah.
for damages done to your car. So you take me to civil court. Okay.
Right.
And the civil court decides, and there's a jury or a judge or whatever, and the civil court says, yep, we have all the evidence to show that Polly hit your car, and that that you are due damages from Polly. Polly needs to pay you money to help repair your car because he hit your car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
would you then say, well, there was no criminal charges, so therefore Polly didn't hit your car?
No. And guess what?
Why not?
I wouldn't say I wouldn't say pay me money and then I'll say that. I would fucking stick up for what the truth was. So if someone sexually assaulted me, if I was sexually assaulted, I'm not taking hush money for it.
Sir,
The
the hush money had nothing to do with the sexual assault. Stay on topic
because you don't all paid off.
Sir, that's a whole different thing.
Okay, so
okay,
let's stay on topic.
Sir, I'm trying to stay on topic, sir. You keep going to a hush money case, which has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Okay.
Okay.
So try to stay on topic here. Does that mean that I hit your car? If I lose that civil court, no, it was proven in court. We went to civil court. A court proved that I hit your car and ordered me to pay damages.
Okay.
So does that mean I hit your car?
It means that a court ruled that, sure.
Okay, so a court ruled that Donald Trump sexually assaulted E. Jean Carroll, okay, and that he was due to pay damages for that assault. No different from if I hit your car, that means that I have to pay you damages because I hit your car, and that's what the court proved. Okay.
And was this a civil charge or was this a criminal
There's
charge?
no such thing as a civil charge, just like there's no thing as you suing me criminally.
So was this settled civilly or was it?
Oh my God, sir, we just talked about the entire scenario. We just talked about the entire, sir, we just talked about the entire scenario. Do I really have to start the scenario from the get-go?
Okay, so what you told me is that he went to civil court over whoever you just said, and that they ruled that he was guilty and he had to pay her damages.
I didn't say guilty.
What happens if that? Okay, well, you said they ruled him that he more than likely, or whatever you said.
No, that he did it and he has to pay her damages. That's what they ruled.
So then why wasn't he tried criminally?
Because it was past the statute of limitations.
It was past the statute of limitations.
Yes.
And so why wasn't it brought up when it was within the statute of limitations?
Because there's a billion reasons why women don't report sexual assaults within that time frame.
So it just happened to come out when he was already getting everything thrown on him. That was just the time. It just happened to come out.
Well, again, that was number 30.
It's not true.
Again, that was like number 30 something that he'd been sued for. Okay, like that's not abnormal. Okay, but regardless of any of that, sir, what I'm saying is whatever reason that it took for it to do that, doesn't change anything. She had plenty of reasons. She talked about her parents not wanting to do it. She also talked about him being a very powerful man, and she was afraid that that if she brought up what he did to her in like the in the 90s, that it was going to be detrimental to her and destroy her life and destroy her family's life. She didn't even talk about it until after after her parents had died, because she was afraid how bad it was going to affect her parents. Okay, and that's why she brought it up after that. But there's a bunch of reasons why women don't report sexual assaults. And actually, if we talk about men are even worse when it comes to that, because men don't report, I think, over 90% of sexual assaults that happen to men. But if you go to court and you are found to pay damages for the damage that you did due to a sexual assault, you did that. That's what that means.
So if someone settles outside of court, does that mean it didn't happen? Like, if you use the opposite logic, I don't know how you can
That's
say
not
that, because
opposite
there's plenty
logic,
of times
sir.
people settle outside.
That's
So
not
if it's
opposite
settled
logic.
outside of court, so if it's not settled in court, it's settled outside of
I mean,
court.
I would have a lot of questions on why Donald Trump decided to settle 30 different cases out of court and if he was innocent.
Well, I would too. I definitely agree with that. And so my goal here isn't to tell you why I think Donald Trump's a good guy, because I'll never tell you that. My goal is to tell you why I didn't vote at all, or if I did vote, I wouldn't have voted.
Sir, we're past that. You're saying that the left is pulling lines out of context to try to frame Donald Trump. Okay,
not to
you have
him.
hold on, sir.
Put him in a certain light.
Sir,
I think
you have not provided a singular example of that.
I did. I said
not one.
Grab him by the pussy thing.
That was not out of context. You said he wasn't a sexual predator, and a court proved he was a sexual predator.
He was going up to people on the public and like grabbing them by the pussy.
Sir, if that's the way you took it, then that's your perception. All they did was play the fucking video that he said.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Why do you think Donald Trump won then? If you're so convicted in everything you just told me, why did Donald Trump beat you guys?
Personally?
Why did you guys lose?
Well, not beat me. Yeah. I'm not a Democrat. And I wasn't running for election. So
wait, what are you then if you're not a
Democrat? What am I? I'm
Don't
Paulie. Nice to meet you.
Well, Paulie, nice to meet you. I'm Chris. But don't tell me you're a centrist.
No, I'm definitely not a centrist. A centrist would make me a Democrat.
Centrist would make you a Democrat. That's funny because
Democrats are
labeled as
Democrats are the centrist party in the United States.
Well, I used to feel that way. Then tell me this. What the hell happened with Joe Biden stepping down in the fucking disaster that you guys had with Kamala? Like, how did you guys not
disaster with Kamala? She had 100 days to fucking run a full campaign.
Exactly, dude. What was that? Why?
You think I'm sir?
Y'all fucked up,
sir. Y'all didn't fuck up shit. I don't know who the fuck y'all is, okay? I'm not even a Democrat, but I'm sure as hell not in Democratic leadership, and I'm sure as fuck not Joe Biden. So I don't know who the fuck y'all is. Okay, if you want me to put it in that example, y'all fucked up by like putting Donald Trump in president, while y'all are also going to be fucked up by the fact he's ripping healthcare away from people. But I could just say, oh, that's okay. That doesn't make you immune to his fucking policies, okay? But if you think that I somehow agree with Joe Biden not stepping down earlier, you're wrong. I think he should have stepped down earlier. That's fucking easy. Tell me
that when channels like Midas Touch Network were saying Joe Biden's sharp as a tack, like a week before he got fucking canned, you're going to tell me that that's legit and that's good if
the Midas Touch podcast is also not part of the Democratic Party, nor do they have any exclusive access to Joe Biden.
Well, apparently they get about 22 million views per week, and we're telling
they're very, very smart guys.
Joe Biden, smart as a tack, dude. Let me tell you.
He still was very smart. He was still doing more amazing things than Donald Trump is doing even right now. So,
well, I won't argue with that. But it's not a really fucking high bar to set. Can you see that the American politics is a joke and why a person like me wouldn't vote at all? Like, shit.
No, it's a joke because people like you don't vote. Well, American politics is a joke because people like you don't vote. Instead of trying to actually fix the problem, you just abstain from it as if that's going to fix the issue.
So if I voted for Bernie Sanders this year, was that going to make a difference?
It would have been at least you trying. It would have been better than you not voting.
I've tried. Bernie Sanders has been talking about forgiving college loans, about the top 1% since I was in fucking college, like 15 years ago, dude. So like, don't give me this shit that Democrats want to change shit.
Sir, I didn't say, sir, I don't know how to say this like in any better English where you can fucking understand it. Okay, I'm gonna say it for the final time.
Dude, I got you.
No, I am not a fucking Democrat.
Okay, bro.
Okay, so if you're saying things as if I'm going to sit up here and defend Democrats, which I'm not, cause I'm not one. So if you're sitting up here just being like, oh well, Democrats do this, Democrats does that, y'all do this, y'all do that, I don't give a shit. Okay, I am talking to you about the fact that you weren't voting. That's it.
Okay. Well, the reason I thought you were a Democrat is because whenever I swipe on your channel, which even though we've been going back and forth, and I probably think you don't like me very much, but hey, it's an entertaining channel. So
I feel nothing about you.
I watch it. Okay, very good. So basically that. So what I'm trying to say though is that when you have people calling in and you're asking them, why do you support Donald Trump? And then going back and forth with them and vehemently stating facts that, whether true or not, support the left's like identity and
no, that's a lie. Everything I say is true.
Of course I would, dude. Of course I would think you were a Democrat. So I'm very interested in that. Like you said, you're poly, which I understand. But do you just not identify with any political party? Like I actually like
no,
that.
I don't.
Identity politics is bullshit.
I don't identify with any party whatsoever, because the Democratic Party is, again, pretty much a conservative party in every other country on this planet, and I'm an actual progressive. When the Democratic Party gets their head on straight and actually starts to have actual left-leaning views and actual left-leaning policies that actually are progressive and actually start helping the American people, then maybe I'll become a Democrat. But until then, they're just a centrist, slightly right fucking political party in the United States that I don't identify with in the slightest. So,
well, fuck, dude. Why don't you fucking run for politics, dude?
Maybe I will one day. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm not trying to be a smartass here, but like that whole middle party that Elon Musk said, and I don't support Elon Musk. I fucking think he's a loser, but that whole middle party thing, I'm like, fuck, sign me up, dude, because like I'm getting tossed to it like every time I try to go on one side. So what I'm saying is like, dude, like at this point, there's a lot of people like me who are probably in their 30s that are like, what the fuck? Who do I vote for? So talking to you is definitely good, because a lot of the shit that I might have had misconceptions on that I brought up actually seems a little bit more like the whole Kamala thing with the 18 to 24 year olds. So maybe I can look into that more. But the thing is, it's like a lot of the Democrats, the left, if I say anything that doesn't align with them, and I'm not saying you're a Democrat, but they fucking immediately say you're a MAGA fucking loser. So like that shit needs to stop. And I'm not saying you control that, but I think the people in the middle are going to be the ones who are deciding the next election, and the left needs to make it a fucking change. Like
well, first of all, independents always decide every election. Okay, it's not just the next one. Independents decide every election, but that doesn't mean because you're independent that you're in the center. Okay, well, I'm independent. I'm independent, and I'm further to the left. Okay,
right.
But that's why. But anyways, I've been talking to you for about a half an hour, and I try to keep conversations under a half an hour.
Yeah.
So I hope you have a good one. All right.
You too, man. You take care.
You too. All right, we're gonna keep going. Move this thing on. Y'all, welcome back. Sorry, I had to do a quick restart on there. I don't think it helped. I don't know what has been going on with my stream lately, but that's okay. Hey, we're going to keep the stream going. Try to have a good time over here. It's just been a little weird with the numbers lately. I think it's because I'm doing the horizontal stream too. So I think it's kind of messing with my numbers, but that's okay. It just looks a little weird. But we're going to move on to the next caller. Y'all, if you guys would like support, I do have super chats open. Memberships are open. We got a whole bunch of new members yesterday, which was just super freaking exciting. I really had a good time with that. Blinding Me with Science, thank you so much for the rose and the 99-cent super chat. I really appreciate that. We had a bunch of new paid members that came in yesterday, so really appreciate it. So make sure you guys are joining the team, hitting that subscribe button, hitting that follow button, turning those notifications on, because I just found out most of y'all haven't done that yet. And we're going to move on to the next caller, see if we can get the next Trump supporter in here, and we can have some good conversation. But I really, really appreciate you guys, and thank you guys so much for the support. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Hi, how old are you?
I am 24.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
No, I don't support either side. I believe either side is influenced by BlackRock and Vanguard.
All right, man. Well, I'm looking for Trump supporters, so thank you. Have a good one. Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
25.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes.
Awesome. Why is that?
I just think he was better than Kamala Harris.
How?
I think he has good policies on immigration. It'd probably be my top reason for supporting him.
Awesome. So why do you feel about Donald Trump blocking a bill that would have solved immigration 2 years ago just so he could run off of it?
Specifically into that, yeah, definitely wasn't. He didn't do that because he was trying to use it to win the 2024 election. I mean, that's obvious.
So he doesn't really care about immigration, does he? He just cares about winning? Because if he really cared about immigration and he was actually a good president, then he wouldn't have need to block immigration policy in order to win an election.
Well, I would argue that if he won in 2024, which he did, it gives him a better opportunity to succeed on immigration going forward rather than allowing it to go through during the Biden administration. I'm not saying
Awesome.
that's right.
So
by the way.
what's going on right now that they're passing that's better than what was under the Biden administration?
Well, in the big, beautiful bill, there is a lot of support for increased immigration, protection at the border.
That was in the 2023 bill?
That type of thing. No, that was in the most recent bill that just
right,
passed
but it was also in the 2023 bill. So we could have had all of that 2 years ago. I'm asking what in the big beautiful bill is better. Like you're saying that now he's in office, so he can proceed on immigration better. Well, now he has the House, the Senate, he has the presidency. He blocked the bill that would have fixed immigration 2 years ago. So what is he doing better now? Or did we just live through worse immigration policy for the next 2 years for no other reason but besides that Donald Trump wanted to run on immigration?
Well, the big beautiful bill has billions more in funding for immigration than the 2023 bill. And I'm agreeing with what you're saying on the premise of he shouldn't have blocked it back then. Like, yeah, if we're going to be intellectually honest, of course we should have supported it in 2023. However, now that he's in here, he's going to be able to do more in immigration with this big, beautiful bill and with him being in the White House and having the Senate and Congress. And obviously we've had the Supreme Court for a long time now. But he's able to get more done. Biden wouldn't have been doing as much, in my opinion, or Kamala, if she had won on immigration as Trump is doing now.
Well, that's crazy because, again, the bill that they tried to get passed does more and actually helps our immigration more than the big beautiful bill does, unless you include just deporting, American citizens or trying to get rid of American citizens.
Well, I don't really believe that Kamala and Biden would have done as much of an immigration crackdown as Trump. I think that's a completely valid point.
Well, you don't believe that. That's feelings. That's fine. But again, that bill, the day that it would have passed, would have completely shut down the border in 2023. So I don't know how you could have more immigration control than completely shut down.
Well, again, in the name of being intellectually honest, if we look at history, right? Obama deported the most immigrants of any president in modern history, including more than Trump in term one and Biden in term one, right? Obama actually did a pretty good job for the most part on immigration. There are things I don't necessarily agree with. But my point for bringing that up is saying that then when Biden gets in there, he really dropped the ball on immigration, whereas Obama, again, I have my issues, but I would like to see more of something like that.
Sure,
but I don't
that's
know the exact number, but
sir, I understand that, and I can complain about certain things with the Biden administration, mostly that they were trying to pass comprehensive immigration reform, and Donald Trump is more than happy just to do an executive order that's not long-lasting in order to fix immigration, while the Biden administration, again, had an immigration policy on the board ready for Congress to approve it 1 week after he took his presidency, but Republicans blocked it. And yes, maybe he could have done more in that, but saying that we have just lived through more immigration problems when Donald Trump stopped us from having a complete border shutdown in 2023, and then saying Donald Trump is doing more and Biden wouldn't have done as much, when literally the bill that was being backed by Biden would have completely shut down immigration on the southern border. How are you going to tell me that Biden wouldn't have done as much if it called for a complete border shutdown?
Yeah, so I'll give specifics, right? Trump has deported more people even before the big beautiful bill in his second term than Biden did at this point in his first term. Right?
Trump hasn't even deported as many people as Joe Biden did up until this time last year. Joe Biden deported 685,000 people last year. The last time I checked the numbers for Donald Trump, it was like 230,000.
Correct, but that's what I'm saying is in Biden's, we're almost in August now. At August, Trump has deported more people. Trump is on track. Even if we go by that numbers, Trump will be at over 800,000 by the end of his first term.
Sir, sir, it was 685,000 in 2024 under Biden.
Okay, and if that's the case, I haven't seen that number. But then if that's the case, are we saying that Trump's so much of a bad president and he's deported less people than Biden?
It's not a matter of deporting people. There is no issue with deporting people. It's who and how you're deporting them. The issue has nothing to do with deporting, okay? Again, there was legislation of the Biden administration that shut down the border. I have no problem with a strong border, neither do the Democrats in any way, shape, or form, right? And we needed an upgrade to immigration policy since the policy that we've had has been in since the 60s. It's not a matter of should we deport people? Should we have a strong border? Should we have those things? Yes, of course we should. Why would we not? That's crazy to not agree with that. But Donald Trump's policy so far has been, threaten to denaturalize people, send people to foreign prisons that haven't committed a crime, send people to third countries that are in civil wars, deport American citizens, breaking down people's houses with masked agents and try to rip them out when they've been here for 20 years and don't know anything else. Those are the issues that I have a problem with. Do you know how much it costs to deport every single migrant that you deport?
Oh yeah, it would probably be trillions of dollars.
It's on average $17,000 per migrant, right? And if you were to escalate that over the 11.6 million estimated undocumented immigrants, it would cost trillions of dollars to do this deportation. Not to mention the fact that it's not even logical, right? It's not even really possible, right?
And that is one good thing about his immigration policy now too that I like is the $1,000 to self-deport. I think that's a great idea.
So you're saying people that traveled their whole family over here from a foreign country, all right, and literally in a lot of cases have hired lawyers to try to gain immigration status are going to leave for $1,000?
Yeah, probably not that many people will. I know some people have, but I definitely support that.
Sir, you can support that all you want. It's ridiculous. People are not going to self-deport for $1,000. Okay, like that's crazy. Like there's no way that and you wouldn't do it either. Like if you were a migrant from Honduras and you brought your whole family up here and got in the United States and been living here for 10 years and work well and you did it to escape whatever you were escaping from, do you really think $1,000 is going to sway you?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I guarantee if I put myself in their shoes, I would not do that. But I'm born in the United States, right? Lived here my entire life, and I'm in the circumstance I'm in now, and it's not something I support. Like, we have laws for a reason.
Sir, you can't say we have laws for a reason. You literally elected a felon.
Okay, that's fine, but right now we're debating immigration. And that's what I'm saying.
We're debating who's doing immigration, and you're saying that your stance is that we have laws for a reason, but apparently that doesn't apply to the person that you support.
I'm focusing on the topic of immigration.
Yes, sir. I understand that you would not want me to bring up the dichotomy of your argument. Okay. I understand that would probably be something that you would not want me to bring up. But the truth of the matter is, sir, you cannot in the same breath say, I support Trump because of immigration, but also say, I don't, and because of immigration, because we have to support laws. And also I support Trump who broke all the laws.
All right. If we want to get into that point specifically, like I said, I'd like to stay on immigration.
We can stay on immigration, sir, as soon as you explain to me how Donald Trump is allowed to break the laws and commit felonies, and you support that, but you complain about immigrants that are committing class C misdemeanors. So,
to address your point about Donald Trump being a felon, every president post World War II is actually technically a felon under the Geneva Convention. The reason why is because the United States has committed war crimes, as has many countries around this world. And every post-World War II president should be tried under the Geneva Convention.
And how many have been?
All presidents are. 0.
Okay, and how many felony convictions does any president have?
Been convicted of a crime.
So therefore, Trump is the only felon.
No, not therefore the only felon.
No, because in order to be a felon, you have to be convicted of a felony. And Donald Trump is the only one to be convicted of a felony. 34 of them to be exact.
But all I'm saying is that every president post-World War II has committed war crimes, right? We can go all the way back to the atomic bombs that were dropped on Japan. And that's what I'm saying. Whether you
That is the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard in my entire life.
No, it's a completely fair argument.
Well, then why aren't they being tried by The Hague?
Because the system we have just won't allow for it.
The system we have will allow for it. That's not our system. The Hague can decide who they freaking put war crime charges against. They just did it against Vladimir Putin, I'm pretty sure, and I think they just did it against Netanyahu for freaking for the indiscriminate bombings that have happened within Gaza and the lack of aid they're getting in right now. They've had no problem charging major world leaders with war crimes or different humanitarian crimes across the United States. So why haven't they charged the U.S. president?
That's my point, is that just because you're not charged with something doesn't mean you haven't committed a crime, right? That's exactly what I'm saying.
Sir.
So yeah, Trump's the only president to be elected that has actually.
So you don't care about crimes?
No, I think you're completely misconstruing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this is the first president that's actually been convicted. But just because you've been convicted doesn't mean someone who hasn't been convicted hasn't committed a crime. People get away with crimes all the time.
People do get away with crimes all the time, like Donald Trump, who's gotten away with probably 30 plus freaking sexual assaults that we've also known about. Not to mention the fact that he had another 50 plus felony charges that are only not freaking being prosecuted against him because he became president. But making this ridiculous argument like, oh, everybody's committed a war crime, so now that's okay, so therefore it's okay to vote for a felon, is a ridiculous argument, sir. That's just you making up some shit about freaking presidents committing war crimes when there's absolutely when there hasn't been a single charge, there hasn't been a single freaking conviction, there hasn't been a single anything to freaking to even close to like give evidence towards your fucking claim besides what you're just saying, okay? But the fact that you are literally able to somehow pretzel this entire conversation into every single president committing a war crime just so you can support Donald Trump while criminalizing undocumented immigrants for committing misdemeanors is a joke.
It just means I'm being intellectually honest, right?
No, you're being intellectually pretzel. That's the entire point. If you really cared about the law, then if you literally freaking cared about the law, then you would immediately be like, yeah, I don't support Donald Trump whatsoever because he broke the law and was convicted of those things. That's what intellectually honest would look like.
Are you done yet?
Are you?
I would like to say my point without being interrupted. I've listened to you.
Yeah, don't freaking talk about being intellectually honest when you're trying to pretzel yourself, sir.
Okay, so can I talk now? So what I'm trying to say is, let's even go over the felonies, right? So the felonies that he was convicted of has to do with, obviously, the hush money payments, and then if we want to go into the civil side, obviously, as well, of everything he's been accused of, right? The war crimes I'm talking about is people actually dying outside of the United States.
Sir, unless you're going to show me where someone was charged and freaking convicted of a war crime, then I don't want to hear your bullshit.
You just talked about Vladimir Putin and Benjamin Netanyahu being charged internationally for killing people, right?
Right. And the United States president has been charged with those crimes where?
Every president since Ronald Reagan has been guilty of.
Yeah. And so where are the charges for that, sir?
They've never happened.
Okay. So again, sir, unless you have a charge that you would like to talk about, we are talking about a felony conviction, not something that you just made up because you want everyone to be a criminal.
I'm just saying, are you saying that there is no drone war going on, that there hasn't been one going on since the 1980s? Are you saying that the CIA
There's been all sorts of wars about all sorts of different things in which a lot of bad things have happened in war. And the United States has been very, very bad in a lot of different situations, not just within freaking killing people, but with also committing coups and doing all sorts of atrocities across the United States. I completely agree with all of those things, but you are trying to put that in the same context as someone who committed a felony under U.S. law. And those two things are not matching. Those two things, sir, those two things do not match with each other, sir. Those two things do not match with each other.
Let me give you a very clear-cut picture. How is a hush money payment worse than a drone strike on a family in the Middle East?
Didn't say it was.
What's more important? What's more important?
Didn't say it was.
A drone strike killing people or a hush
Didn't say it
money
was.
Payment? Well, you're acting like it is.
No, I'm not. You're acting like that the United States president, sir, you're acting like, okay, the United States president, okay, that every single one of them should be tried by the Hague, okay? That is not happening, okay? Nor is it going to happen in any way, shape, or form. So there has literally not been a single charge in which you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
not a
except for
single one.
Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin, because they're not
No,
United
on a
States.
U.S. president, you said every U.S. president since the end of World War II is a felon or has committed a war crime.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, awesome. Then where are the charges for that?
Not a war crime.
Then where are the charges for that? Then where are the charges for that?
Yeah, there were no charges for it.
There was no charge on that. Okay, awesome. So we settled that.
Do we not? Do we agree that?
And considering that, and if you really want to quantify that too, then on the same thing, Donald Trump should also be charged with those war crimes. So I assume that at this point that you want Donald Trump to be removed.
Every president has committed war crimes.
So under that context, you should say that you want Donald Trump removed from office for committing war crimes, correct?
Sure, and then that would be Obama.
No, not sure. Not sure. Yes or no?
I'm saying yes, all presidents.
All right, awesome. So you want Donald Trump removed from office immediately and impeached for war crimes, okay? And so therefore, again, you still support him, sir. No, sir, and therefore you should not support the president of the United States whatsoever because of the crimes that he committed, according to your own logic.
So according to my own logic, I'm trying to bring it back full circle to we can only vote for who we can vote for. And all things considered, in my opinion, I would rather support Trump than Kamala Harris.
Awesome.
And
so what war crimes has Kamala Harris committed?
Well, I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, let's be honest. What war crimes has Kamala Harris committed?
She got elected.
I'm sorry, what war crimes was that?
I'm saying, let's be honest. We all know that if she got elected, she would be doing the exact same thing.
No, we don't know any of that. So what war crimes has Kamala Harris committed?
What war crimes has Kamala Harris committed? She's locked up people in her own state for smoking marijuana or for.
That's a war crime now?
No, but I'm
just, okay. So what war crime did Kamala Harris commit?
I guess she hasn't committed one yet, but
gotcha. So you had the choice between someone under your own logic that committed war crimes and someone who didn't, and you said I had to choose between two people, so I chose the one that committed war crimes, not the other one.
But was she not involved in policy making as the vice president?
Awesome. So what policy making did she have that committed a war crime?
Well, there was drone strikes when Biden was president.
Okay, and where's the vice president when it comes to the chain of command within the military, and what drone strikes did she order?
I mean, I've seen pictures of her in the Situation Room. So,
yes, and which drone strikes did she order?
I mean, there's literally been one going on since 9/11.
Which drone strikes did she order, sir?
Continued authorization.
Sir, you can just tell me the instance in which she's able to initiate a drone strike. Because last time I checked, the vice president of the United States does not have the power to call on a drone strike. So I'd really like to know which one it is.
Well, if you want to be honest, Biden actually did have, I forget if it was a colonoscopy or something, but he was under for a few hours where she was the president, and there was still
awesome. And so what drone strikes did we do in that couple hours?
Well, right now we're in Somalia, we're in Yemen.
No, I didn't ask where we're at right now. I said during that couple hours where Joe Biden had a procedure, I would like to know exactly which drone strikes Kamala Harris ordered in that couple of hours.
Yeah, so during that couple of hours, she was the acting president of the United States while we were in all these countries.
Yeah, and which drone strikes did she order? Do you have any proof that there was even a single drone strike during that couple of hours?
No, I don't, but...
Okay, so I will go back to what war crimes did Kamala Harris commit?
I guess, if I'm being fair, technically you could say none, but you and I both
So
know
again, sir, right back to what I was saying before, you're saying that every president had committed a war crime, and you say you support the law, so you had the choice between one person who you admittedly has committed war crimes and another president who had committed no crimes, and you chose the one that committed war crimes.
But you and I both know, let's be honest, Paulie.
No, you and I don't know anything. I'm just using your own logic.
Are you saying Kamala Harris would have honestly stopped the drone war?
I don't know what Kamala Harris would have done. I don't have a crystal ball. I have no idea what would have happened. But I do know that you're saying, sir, that we need to obey the rule of law, that these Class C misdemeanors that these immigrants are committing are just the most horrific thing. Yet you literally just said that you voted for somebody who committed war crimes.
Yeah, there wasn't a choice of a president that.
Yes, there was. There was one who hadn't committed war crimes. We already discussed this.
Yes, but you know that she would have.
Sir, I don't know anything. I'm sorry, Miss Cleo. I'm sorry, Miss Cleo. Where's your crystal ball at? And can you please tell me the winning lotto numbers for tomorrow?
No, let's be honest.
I am being honest, sir. I don't know what Kamala Harris would have done. I don't ever know what Kamala Harris would have done. Okay, sir. But if you're going to complain about the rule of law while also supporting someone that you said committed war crimes, then I don't know what to tell you, sir. You've pretzeled yourself too far for the rest of this conversation.
Well, it sounds like you are.
Sir, I don't do these conversations to win or lose.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't know what you're saying, but whatever it is not worth my time to talk about anymore. Because at this point, we're just repeating ourselves, and you're freaking pretzeled up in your own logic.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion. I appreciate the time.
Bye. All right. Well, anyways, that ended up being a waste of time at the end. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate y'all. Guys, if you guys are here and you guys like to support the live, first of all, make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn those notifications on. We do this every day, so I really appreciate you guys. If you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats open, so if you'd like to support the live that way, it really means a lot to me. Helps me to keep doing this. I don't have any brand connects or not supported by anybody, so your guys' support is what helps me to keep doing this every single day. So I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Blind Me with Science. They pretzeled themselves in. Yeah. I mean, he was the one who brought up the drone strikes and the war crimes. That's crazy how he just walked himself right into that. But I do really appreciate that. And Mr. Sims, thank you so much for joining up as a paid member over here. I really appreciate that also. Thank you so much. Thank you. That's really, really sweet. We are going to be doing the giveaway for the paid members on Thursday. So make sure you're here for that. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. How are you today?
I'm good.
Awesome. How old are you? How old are you?
How old am I? I'm 51.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. Why is that?
Immigration policies.
That's it?
And for what he's doing with lowering crime rate, also supporting the police, freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, that's a funny one.
Well, yeah, it is. It is.
Well, it's just funny because Donald Trump literally just had a court injunction saying that he violated free speech. And he does it like literally consistently where he tries to subvert any questions or comments or any type of free speech from anyone from someone he doesn't like.
Yeah, we get that from both parties. So I mean, I support Trump, even though that he is not considered a person that follows the law. But politicians don't follow the law. Politicians are above the law. We are governed by corrupt politicians, unfortunately.
But sir, so you're the one who said that, though. Like, you're the one who said you voted for Donald Trump because of free speech, and Donald Trump has literally just been attacking the free speech since he got in office.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's attacking everybody that attacked him on free speech. You know, they put a gag order when he was in court for the Eugene Carroll. You know, I mean, they didn't want him to. They took his speech rights away from him.
Sir, that's not a freedom of speech right. That was to to allow the court proceedings to proceed correctly. Putting a gag order on someone is not a violation of free speech.
Well, I didn't view it that way.
Well, you cannot view it the way it is, but it's not a violation.
Yeah. I don't know. I view things.
What about Mahmoud Khalil? What about him?
A little bit. I view things a little bit different. I was a born and raised Democrat all my life, and I said, let me give Trump a chance because my Democrat Party has failed me so many times that I just got fed up with it.
Awesome. And so what has Donald Trump done for you since he's been president that you're enjoying?
What he has done? Oh, well, I mean, I like the fact that I end up applying for a job, getting a job that normally a migrant would have in construction. So,
sir, Donald Trump has not deported. Donald Trump has deported like 200,000 of literally millions of migrants that are in this fucking country. What are you talking about? Donald Trump did not get you a job.
Yeah, the deportation rate is not as high as, for example, Obama or even Biden, that he started deporting migrants in high numbers in 2023. He allowed them in for 3 years, and gaslight us that the border was closed when it was actually open. Millions of immigrants crossed the border, and took advantage of the welfare system, the Medicaid system, the housing system, and now we are where we are right now. And I said,
sir, undocumented immigrants don't get Medicaid or Medicare. That they weren't taking advantage of it.
No, migrants do get Medicaid.
Not undocumented
and
ones.
They get Medicaid. They get housing.
Not undocumented immigrants.
Migrants come to this country and they know the system.
Sir, you're talking about documented migrants. You're talking about legal migrants.
No.
Yes, you are. Because undocumented migrants, illegal migrants don't. Yeah, illegal migrants do not get Medicaid or Medicare, or do they get Section 8, SNAP benefits, food assistance? They don't get any of that stuff.
Illegal migrants do get all them benefits.
No, they don't.
Illegal migrants come to this country. They get fake papers, and they get all the benefits. I mean,
that is not true on
I work with migrants.
Yeah, sir, everybody works with migrants. We're all migrants if you want to be technical. But freaking the rate of people that freaking use fake papers to get benefits is much higher amongst American citizens than it is undocumented migrants.
Well, all the migrants that I work with, except 2, actually came here legally, and all the other migrants that work at the company, they all have fake papers. So
this is what you're telling me.
Hold on, some of them even have papers from nationality, for example, from Puerto Rico. They got papers like they're Puerto Ricans and they're not Puerto Ricans. They're actually Mexican.
So what you're telling me, this is what you're telling me, is that a bunch of people you work for on a job that you apparently just got because you just got it because you said Trump got you a job. That Trump got you a job, and all of a sudden, all of these migrants started coming up to you, telling you that they were undocumented migrants, and then showing you how they got all these papers.
No, not telling me. Not telling. See, I worked in the mobile mechanic business, so I associate with a lot of immigrants, and you learn a lot from them. Because they teach you how to run the system, how to drain the system, how to get on welfare, how to get food stamps, everything. I mean, they know the system. To me, when you learn that, you realize how we've been dumbed down by politicians to believe that migrants come in here and they don't affect the welfare system, the Medicaid system, the housing system.
Do you know who the biggest freaking fraudsters when it comes to Medicare or Medicaid are?
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's healthcare providers. Yeah, it's the doctors that are defrauding Medicare and Medicaid more than anybody else. It's not undocumented migrants with fake papers. Okay, that's a bunch of bullshit. All right. Now, do some cases of that exist? I'm sure that there are some cases of that existing. I'm not going to say that. Okay, and there's a lot more cases of American citizens that are using fake papers or fake things in order to gain benefits. But guess what? For the most part, we catch those people because I'm talking. Yeah, we catch those people because we have all the people in spots to check people to see if people are using the right social security numbers. There's backing to it. Again, there's work requirements for all sorts of these things. We have all of this within the institution to check for fraud within our system. All right. But the problem is that now that Donald Trump is getting rid of, literally, billions of dollars worth of Medicaid funding, now we don't even have those systems in place to catch fraud as much as we should before. So what we're going to see is not only are 10 to 17 million people going to lose healthcare under Medicaid, but also we're not going to be able to catch fraud the way that we used to because those systems are being drained. And who's really going to be able to take advantage of that is people within the healthcare industry that are now going to be able to claim things on Medicaid that they didn't actually do, which again is where most of the fraud comes from.
Yeah, well, going back to another point.
How about you address fraud. That point?
Americans here in the United States, they commit welfare fraud, housing fraud, Medicaid fraud in high numbers. So
where's your data on that?
They do take advantage of the system.
Awesome. Where are you hearing that from?
They're work able bodies. And they choose not to work. They choose to lie to the system about illnesses that they don't have. and collect money and defraud the system. And I'm actually, so tired of hearing from people how easily they have it, while you have to actually get up in the morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, be to work at 7 o'clock, get out of work at 5, and you work, and these people, American citizens, are defrauding the system. So I kind of like the fact that right now they're catching all these people that are committing fraud and taking advantage of the system. I don't like Donald Trump. I never liked Donald Trump, but some of his policies, I said, you know what? They will make changes. Like even right now.
Like what policy of his is going to make change? Because again, he's ripping the funding away from places like Medicaid to catch fraud.
He should. I believe that.
You think that we shouldn't catch fraud? I thought you just cared about fraud.
Yes. No.
But now we're not going to be able to catch fraud as much because Donald Trump is defunding it.
Because of the fraud, the people.
So gotcha. So Donald Trump is cutting our ability to catch fraud because of fraud.
The DEI hires are the ones allowing this.
So we should get rid of the funding to catch fraud because of fraud. That is literally what you just told me.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that. I think that what he's doing of defunding is Donald Trump is coming in. He's cleaning out house. He's getting all the corrupted people out. And yes, put in his corrupted people because we are going to be we are going to be governed regardless. We are going to be governed.
If you're not going to listen at all and not reply to anything that I'm saying, then there's really no point in having this conversation. What does DEI stand for?
What does DEI?
What does it stand for?
Personas que no son estables, tener un trabajo. Hold on, I'm translating it from Spanish to English. Hold on.
DEI, you just said it. You said all of these DEI hires. What does DEI stand for?
In people that are hired because of their ethnicity, and they don't even qualify for a job, but just because they're a certain race, they will get hired for a job.
Yeah. So what does DEI stand for? Just out of curiosity.
It's that I don't know the term in English. I mean, everything that I'm telling you.
You can tell it to me in Spanish if you're close enough. I'm sure I'll get it. What does DEI stand for?
I just told you it's
no, it's 3 letters. Each of those 3 letters means one word. What does DEI stand for?
Well, I don't know.
So you're complaining about DEI hires that you don't even know what DEI means.
Because what I was explained to me, it was a DEI hire is a person that gets hired because of their ethnicity, their race.
No, that would be affirmative action.
It doesn't have to be about qualification.
That would be affirmative action.
So I actually don't know how it was explained to me. I'm not into politics or like that.
Well, let me explain it to you. How does that sound?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, why don't I explain it to you? I'll educate you. DEI is not a hiring practice in the slightest. DEI is a human relations practice, okay, which teaches that diverse groups are better, right? And it does include certain types of things when it comes to who you hire, but usually that affects veterans a lot. White women are actually the largest benefactor of DEI in the United States, right? So literally when you're talking about DEI and all these people being fired for DEI within Medicaid, there is absolutely no data to show that whatsoever. But honestly, I mean, if you're saying over here that you were hired even though there was an immigrant that could do the job better and Donald Trump was getting rid of him, I think you would actually be a DEI hire.
No, because I'm actually a good carpenter.
So where did hold on, you're saying the migrants weren't good carpenters?
No, they're not good.
Well, that's a bunch of bullshit. Because I know that's a fucking lie.
Well,
also, where did you immigrate from?
Okay, when you built the home, you have to build the home with codes. There's codes, and
I'm very aware. Where did you immigrate from?
So I didn't immigrate from anywhere. I mean, Puerto Rico. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, but immigrants don't follow codes. Why do you think that houses?
Immigrants don't follow code. That is fucking sad.
They don't follow the codes. They don't. I mean, when you work with immigrants, you know how they work.
I've worked with so many immigrants.
They put them as the best.
I've worked with so many
constructions, but they're not. I give them the fact that
they're
really
better than you.
Concrete.
I bet you they're better than you.
I give them the benefit of the doubt in stonework, in masonry. They're really, really good at that. You know, but it's like they're not perfectionists. When it comes to doing work, they do fast work. And
there are plenty of Americans that are not freaking perfectionists and do fast work but not good work. You could be fucking one of them, but freaking putting all immigrants in a monolith because you didn't like getting hired. Obviously, sir. Obviously, they were so good.
All the immigrants.
They were so good that they took your job.
No, it's that they work cheap.
They were so good they took your job.
Yeah, they do. They work at $8 an hour.
So you must be really, really bad at it.
No, I don't work at $8 an hour.
Oh, okay.
So I make 3 times what they make, but it's still they work at $8 an hour. So it's like who's going to compete with that? Nobody. I can't compete with an immigrant because he makes $8 an hour.
Sure, I think you just probably aren't very good at your job.
I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get the job.
So let me get this straight. So you couldn't work for $8 an hour. Okay.
No, I can't work.
All the immigrants were taking all the jobs, but now Donald Trump comes into office. Okay, deports a couple 100,000 migrants from all across the United States, and all of a sudden now you have a job.
Well, in Georgia, I'm in Georgia. There's plenty of Mexicans. They run construction, landscaping, and masonry work in Georgia.
This is a literal trash conversation, sir. What the hell are you even talking about, sir? Like, truly, the fact that immigrants work harder and better than you is not really my freaking problem whatsoever. But regardless of any of that, sir, they're not DEI hires. Medicaid is not being ripped off to freaking get rid of DEI.
No, I didn't say Mexicans are DEI hires. I didn't say that.
Yeah, so Medicaid is not going to undocumented immigrants. Medicare is not going to undocumented immigrants. Section 8 housing is not going to them. Neither is food benefits like SNAP. None of those things are going to undocumented immigrants, okay? They are literally just going to people that are documented and here.
That's what
that's what the law says, sir. No, sir, that's what the law says. Okay, the only time in very certain circumstances that any undocumented immigrant can get any type of healthcare funding like that, okay, is through like certain states that do private, or that do state funded, healthcare for certain people like that. But no, they are not getting those type of funding, so they're not taking it away from people. And literally, Donald Trump is not even going after the majority of people that are that are working within construction. I thought Donald Trump was supposed to be going after the criminals, but he's already said he's not going to go after migrants in the agricultural industries. He's saying he's not going to go after hospitality. I'm sure construction is going to be next when he comes to talking about migrants that are working hard, sir. But I'm still waiting for the thing that Donald Trump actually did.
He is going after construction companies that are hiring criminals.
That's good.
There's some that are not criminals.
I like that.
Like right now, we have a trailer park that got raided, and they arrested MS-13. They didn't arrest all the migrants that lived there. They arrested all the gang members and criminals that tax the immigrants that are here. That's a story that people don't know about.
Less than 15% of the people that Donald Trump are deporting have any criminal record. Less than 15%.
I thought that we had laws over here. If you cross the border illegally, you're supposed to be deported.
Yeah, you are.
That is.
But you're talking about cartel members and people committing actual violent crimes.
No. I thought that if you cross the border and you come illegally into the United States, you're breaking U.S. law.
You are. It's a misdemeanor.
So
just like jaywalking.
So you're breaking the law.
Yeah, and so is jaywalking.
So if there is a law, and they say, and in the law, like you cannot right now, you go to Mexico and you overstay. Let's say you overstay your visa. What's going to happen to you? They're going to deport you. They're going to arrest you.
I'm not arguing with that.
So every immigrant that crossed the border illegally violated U.S. law.
Yeah, the same way that a jaywalker violates U.S. law, sir. So, sir, do you think that we should, sir?
Right now,
no, hold on, sir. Hold on. I didn't disagree with you. Yeah, I didn't disagree with you, sir.
If I miss
so I have a question for you.
Misdemeanor, I'll get arrested.
Perfect, sir. So I have a question for you. Okay, do you think that we should make a the largest, law enforcement agency in the country, okay, to hunt down jaywalkers? Okay, to make sure they're paying for their crimes because they're criminals according to U.S. law, horrible civil infractions, right? Do you think that we should have that agency go in and have masked agents breaking down people's doors in order to catch all of these jaywalkers and send them to prisons, maybe send them to
third countries
that they don't belong to or whatever, freaking maybe just Civil War torn countries?
Do jaywalkers kill people? Do jaywalkers break into your home?
I'm sure they do.
Steal your property?
I'm sure there's tons of people. I'm sure there are tons of people.
Do jaywalkers go ahead and steal your vehicles to travel to other states to their family?
Yes.
In the state of Georgia, in a subdivision.
Sir, are you trying to tell me?
17 cars in one night.
Sir, are you trying to tell me that there's never been a guy who jaywalked and then stole a car?
No, but you're saying you're putting like
there you go. So jaywalkers also commit felonies.
You put in like jaywalkers are committing a heinous crime.
Other jaywalkers also commit other crimes that are heinous.
When you're talking about you're trying to compare
you do realize that undocumented immigrants in this country commit violent crime at a rate 30 times less than U.S. citizens, right? Which means you are 30 times more likely to have a violent crime committed against you in the United States by a U.S. citizen than by an undocumented immigrant.
Like the immigrant that burned that lady alive in New York, like the immigrant.
Sir, did you not hear the words that I just said out of my mouth?
Yes,
undocumented immigrants commit violent crime at a rate 30 times less than American citizens. So this whole fucking migrants are committing all these crimes and hurting people. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. I do agree, sir, that if somebody commits let
me put it simple for you. Let me put it simple for you. You got laws. Do you have laws?
Sir, I'm going to finish my sentence.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your sentence and let me ask you a question.
Yeah. So absolutely 100% for people that commit violent crimes, I think that they should be punished fully to the extent of the law. I think that people that commit violent crimes and do these horrible things should absolutely be prosecuted, sent to prison, whatever that punishment is, and then deported after that. 100%. But saying that every single fucking migrant is a bad person because a very, very tiny percentage of them commit crimes would be, I don't know, like saying that all Puerto Ricans are horrible people and dirty people and all that sort of stuff just because they're brown and come from the Caribbean. Oh, wait, no, that was what Donald Trump said about your people. My bad. Sorry, I was confusing that right there. Well, I forget what Donald Trump said about Puerto Ricans and
lying.
How bad they were.
You see, that's one thing.
He wasn't lying. So Puerto Ricans are all dirty people?
He's saying it. Like
so Puerto Ricans are all dirty people?
You know what was going on in Puerto Rico?
So, sir, you think that all Puerto Ricans are dirty people? That's what you think?
I don't think that all Puerto Ricans are.
And you just agree with him?
No, he didn't. You see, you're twisting the word.
Maybe he should have some paper towels thrown at him.
What he said about Puerto Rico, he had all the right to say it because Puerto Rico is turning into a shithole with corrupt politicians and what they're doing to the island and how they're allowing criminals run the neighborhoods, run the caseríos, run the what we call.
Why doesn't Donald Trump do something about it then?
He just became our president. He hasn't been.
He was president for 4 years. What are you talking about? Why didn't he do something about it? He was president for 4 years. Why didn't he do something about it? He is the president, right? Puerto Rico is part of the United States last time I checked, right?
Ask my party, my Democrat party.
No, I didn't ask the Democrat.
They did against him.
Donald Trump,
what they did against
Donald Trump was in
him.
Puerto Rico saying all that stuff, he was currently the president. So if there was a problem on the island, he should have been the one to fix it. So why didn't he fix it? He's in charge.
Well, he did address it because a lot of politicians got exposed and got arrested for their fraud, for what they were doing.
Oh, which ones?
Oh, I don't know their name. This was so long time ago, but in Puerto Rico, a whole bunch of politicians went to jail. Went to jail for committing fraud. Politicians in Puerto Rico. Politicians in Puerto Rico.
Maybe it was the one that Donald Trump was throwing paper towels at. Maybe it was that one.
But anyways, let me ask you the question. Okay, do you have laws in your home? Do you have?
No.
When I walk in your house, can I do whatever I want to do?
You can't walk into my house.
Okay, no. I can't walk into your house?
No.
Well, if I knock the door, then
I would not let you in.
And you let me in,
I wouldn't.
Am I allowed to do anything?
Let you in.
You wouldn't let me in first. I bet you won't allow me to do whatever I want to do in your home.
Well, you wouldn't be in my home, so how would you allow me? How would I allow you to do anything? You wouldn't be inside of my home.
Well, migrants is the same thing. They cross the border.
Yes, and I agree that we should have. Sir, I agree we should
have
stronger border protection. I've already agreed to that multiple times.
Oh, I thought you were making it like it was something minor. Like it's nothing. Like they're like jaywalkers. They're just crossing into the United States.
But just because
changing our belief because they come from a country that they're
our beliefs. You're
system.
Latino, sir.
Mm-hmm.
It would be your beliefs. But regardless of any of that, what I said was I completely agree that we should have strong borders. Again, the Democrats have had stronger borders. The Democrats tried to fix the border 2 years ago. I've been very, very clear about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a Democrat. I voted for Biden.
No one cares. That does not qualify you or make you something special to me. I really could not care less.
I voted for Obama. I voted for Biden.
Literally no one cares.
Bush. I know no one cares.
Yeah,
I know
no
that.
one cares who you voted for.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
So now I decided to go for, there's two parties. I believe that both of them are corrupted. But I said, let me vote for the party that is going to do something to change what's happening here in the United States.
Yeah. How's that working out for you?
Well, to me, it's working out.
Yeah, because Donald Trump got you a job as a DEI hire.
I think right now the cops are doing more than what they did before.
There's definitely more happening. I'll give you that.
Right
but
now,
more isn't necessarily good.
They're arresting people, and they're not allowing it. They're not letting them free like before. A person could commit a crime, and they will be out on the street 48 hours later. I mean, it's like it was
that
crazy
wasn't happening,
how it was
but anyways,
before.
That's not how it's
in
happening.
New York,
that's completely
that's
against
what was
the law.
happening in New York. In New York, it was happening that. I voted for Biden, and I saw what was going on. And and my dad's home state of Connecticut, the same thing. Everything just changed. The values changed. In Connecticut, I mean, men competing
in the place
against
you don't live
women.
Oh, good pivot.
So it's
men competing against women. Oh my goodness.
In Connecticut, men were beating women in track and field.
Oh, okay. What are the name of those people that were getting beat?
Dude, that was all over the news.
Okay, then who was it?
I don't know. I don't know the girls that lost their scholarship.
All right, so which girls lost their scholarships, and which girls were which trans girls were the ones that were beating them? Name of the school?
Any of your listeners?
You don't know because you don't care because you're just trying to pivot. Okay, but anyways, I've been talking to you for almost a half an hour, and honestly, I think we're all losing brain cells at this point. So I'm gonna move on to the next caller. But I hope you have a wonderful day. Okay.
You too. Don't let it.
All right, guys, give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. I got some super chats to read, and we're going to keep this thing going. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. We're going to do this for at least another hour, I hope. So let's keep this thing going. All right, sorry about that. Had to be back. Take a quick second. But anyways, Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate that. We're going to go through a few super chats. So if you guys like to support the live, I do have super chats and all that fun stuff open. And we're going to open up these phone lines and move on to the next caller in just a moment. And keep this thing going. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are being awesome today. Oh, where am I missing? I'm missing some stuff over here. Sandwich, thank you so much for the $2 to say L host. I appreciate the $2. That's fine. And Angie, as a is that a dialysis social worker? My undocumented patients don't receive shit, especially not Medicaid or Medicare. Yeah, because undocumented migrants don't get medical. I thought we were past that. I thought we were at the point where we figured this out. Like, I don't know how this is still a thing that we're still talking about. Undocumented migrants don't get federal benefits. How could they get federal benefits? They're not documented. Doesn't make any sense. But thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that. Stacy, I already put Stacy's up there, but Stacy said back in the blue by pardoning those who beat cops. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Doesn't make any sense. Colin says it's crazy how much data these people ignore or don't look at or don't care to look at or don't try to look at. I don't really know what they're trying to do over there, but yeah, they completely ignore all sorts of data. And Stacy, no one is living large off of public assistance. Yeah, you don't get a public assistance check. Just thought I'd let you know that. That's not something that actually happens. Yeah, no one's sitting at home being like, oh, I can't wait for my Medicare or Medicaid check to kick in. That would be nice. Thank you so much, Stacy. I had to call it. I appreciate that. And Shay, thank you so much for the $50 super chat. Said, go Polly, you proved the caller wrong on all of his points. Love it. Thank you so much, Shay. Big W's in the chat for Shay. For the huge $50 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Y'all, if you guys are still here, especially if you guys are in the vertical live, big W's in the chat for Shay, for real. If you guys are in the chat, especially if you're on the vertical live, could you guys do me a favor and just put some comments in the chat? My chat rate is like super low, which I think is affecting my viewership. So if you guys could just send some chats in there, freaking say what's up, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Love me, hate me, I don't care. Throw some chats into the chat. I think that'll help to improve the live and get the numbers up a little bit for me. I really, really appreciate that. That would really mean a lot to me. Also, if you guys would like to join the team, if you guys would like to be a part of the group, I do have my paid memberships over there. Paid members get special access to Discord channels that we're slowly building up, to merch giveaways, and all sorts of fun little stuff that we get to talk about over in there. So if you guys would like to be a paid member, I really appreciate it. There's 2 tiers that are in that. So yeah, would love to have you guys there. I really appreciate that. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate y'all. But yeah, please make sure you guys are putting those chats in there, keeping that chat rate nice and high. It does help me to keep this live going. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications. We do this every single day. So I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you today?
Hello?
Hi, how are you today?
Hi.
Hi, how old are you?
Old.
All right, well, you're going to have to give me better than that.
46.
Awesome. Do you support Trump? Do you support Trump? Goodbye. All right. Hello. I don't know what happened there. Hello. How are you today?
Hey.
Hi.
That political channel?
Yeah. How old are you?
Me?
How old are you, sir?
Hello? Hi. I am 22. How
awesome. I'm doing well. Do you support Trump?
Me? Oh, it is you. Oh, man, this actually works. All right. I do not, well, okay. I voted for Trump.
Wow, you are excited, bro. I like it. Keep that energy up. Let's go.
Oh, okay. I'll keep the energy up. All right. But I voted for Trump in 2024. I mean, I probably said 2020. But I voted for Trump in 2024 because I really didn't, I looked at my options, okay? And we had Biden, who dropped out. And then we had Kamala. But I voted for Trump because I saw him as the better candidate than Kamala Harris or Joe Biden. So I want you to tell me some policies that Kamala Harris was rallying for that would have helped America out.
Oh, man, I haven't had to go through Kamala Harris's policies in a while. I'd have to actually try to remember some. I know the housing was a big one. She wanted to do a lot of subsidies into housing for to build more homes in the United States and to give first-time home buyer credits. I thought that was really awesome. She really championed the Senator Langford immigration bill that she talked about. There was lots of things as far as foreign policy, as far as being a little stricter on Israel and being a little, helping Ukraine a lot more. Not a lot more, but keeping up the support for Ukraine. There was an increase in corporate tax rate. While keeping the tax rate for the middle class the same, using that to subsidize child tax credits and multiple things like that. It's been a little while since I went through all of them, but I could pull up some other stuff. But that's the ones I just remember right off the top of my head.
All right. I believe though that the Democrat Party failed at the border, but I know you've talked a lot about the border and immigration, a lot so far. So let's move on from that. Also, the problem with the Democrat Party is spending, and they spend a lot of money. And you look at Trump, and he spent less than Obama his first 3 years until COVID hit. Of course, COVID hit, everything went downhill. But you look at his first 3 years, and he balanced the budget a lot better than – now, he didn't balance the budget. All right, the last person to balance the budget was Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton was the last of the good Democrats, all right? But he did a lot better financially than Obama. What do you have to say about the Democrat Party and their financial decisions in Congress?
Yeah, so let's see. You're saying that he increased the debt less than Obama, but that's kind of disingenuous a little bit to talk about it like that. So when he left office, the debt had reached nearly 20 trillion. So he added about $9.4 trillion in national debt. But that was what he added with 2 terms. And Donald Trump added 8.4 trillion with 1 term.
Now I want you to look at Biden. And Biden, I know for a fact, he has added way more than that.
No, he did not. I know for a fact that it's not that. I think the highest numbers I saw were like just shy of 7. Let's see. Oh, this is showing that it's as of January, it was 8.4. So that would have matched him. ChatGPT shows it would have matched him. So it would have been the exact same amount.
doesn't have all the answers. ChatGPT gives you a lot of...
All right. Well, then do you have a better spot for me to look it up at?
Well,
here's the Committee for Homeland Security and Government Affairs that shows 8.4 trillion.
Oh, let me find one right there. Dang charts here. Man, they don't really put out these charts that much anymore. I will say though that Biden did spend a lot more.
No, he didn't.
Than Trump, but let's move on from that.
They spent about even.
I want to say that. Like he was. Trump was
again, sir, this is the Republicans saying that they spent even.
But what now?
The Republicans. There's Republicans saying that, and I can pull up data for days that show Donald Trump did 8.4 trillion. That's an easy one. And he's already added 4 more trillion since he's been in office already.
Interesting. All right. I do want to talk about, oh yeah, here we go. Here's some data. No, it's not. They don't really put out the charts. I read this book about federal spending, and this was before the election. But yeah, Biden did spend a lot more.
He did not.
But yeah.
Sir.
Anyway, yeah, he actually did. But
he actually didn't. I can pull up tons of charts to show that if you need.
Moving on from that, we have.
I don't know why we're moving off of that. I like that. Versus Trump adding debt.
A what?
Yeah. So here's actually the Committee for Responsible Budget, and this actually shows that. And I think this one ends a little bit before Donald Trump's term. Let's see, this was June. So this is showing 6 months prior. And according to the Committee for so I just gave you the number that Republicans said, but according to the Committee for Responsible Budget, 6 months before Biden left office, he was sitting at a total of 4.3 trillion in national debt. And Donald Trump added 8.4 trillion. So according to that, and again, this was June, so this was 6 months before Joe Biden left office, he was sitting at about half of what Donald Trump added.
Boom, found the numbers. All right. So we have.
So do I, sir. It's on the screen.
All right, 2017, Trump got in office, and he added. So we're talking about debt added to the national debt.
What are you looking at, sir? What source are you showing?
Investopedia.
Investopedia.
Yeah, Investopedia. So we have, and this is their numbers. 2017, Trump gets in office. The national debt is $20 trillion. 2019. which this was now, okay, so, well, let's add in COVID, because COVID happened. So he gets in office in he gets out of office in 2020, at the end of 2020. And it's 26 trillion. So he added 6 trillion. So let's look at Biden. Biden came in with 28. He added 28 trillion in 2021. 2024, it's 35 trillion. So we have $1 trillion difference there that he added to the national debt. So Biden
hold on, I'm not.
more to the debt.
Hold on. I don't see what. Let's see.
Biden added a whole nother $1 trillion to the debt.
Let's see. All right, according to Investopedia's numbers, let's take a look at it. Easy stuff. All right, according to Investopedia's numbers, this is be 20, 21, 22, and 26. And then 28, what is, oh, this is the national debt. This isn't how much they added in national debt. That's just the national debt. So I think that's what you're looking at, sir. You're actually looking at what the national debt was, not how much national debt was added.
All right, but overall, I know it doesn't show how much was added, but it shows the numbers and how they went up.
Right.
Anyway,
so when we talk about national debt, when it comes to the president, we don't talk about how much national debt was added, like happened during the presidency, because the national debt could have been approved. The debt could have been approved prior to that president coming in. So does that make sense?
All right.
Yeah. So we talked about legislatively how much each president adds to the 10-year debt, right? So when presidents add debt to the national debt, they add it on a 10-year time frame. And so it's approved debt. So it's not how much was there in 2017 versus how much was there in 2024. It's how much debt they actually approved. And Donald Trump approved $8.4 trillion worth of debt.
All right. What do you think?
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. All right. I do want to ask you, what do you think about minimum wage, and should the minimum wage be raised?
Of course.
Of course. So do you think that Democrats support that more? And I'm a Republican, well, kind of. But I support minimum wage needs to be raised, like, big time. And I do say that Biden should have raised the minimum wage like he said he was going to do in his 2020 campaign. But when it came time in his presidency, he had a Democrat Senate, he had a Democrat House, and he was a Democrat as a president. So he did not raise minimum wage. He had 2 years to do it, and he did not do it. So he failed to do that as a president, which I was looking forward to.
Yeah, he didn't pass it during that time. I believe he did try to pass it.
But he didn't. Now, it was going to try to get passed back under Trump, but the House didn't pass it, and I think that was stupid.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that Joe Biden could have gotten passed in that small amount of time, but he spent most of his time just passing things that tried to recover us from COVID.
Well, then, also,
But don't you think that was a little bit more important at the moment?
COVID wasn't really that important. I mean, it was kind of all a hoax, but
you think that the world inflation rate rising to over 10% was a hoax?
Yeah, I would say so. And it kind of set up for the whole 2020 election, which, Biden had 81 million votes.
Guys, things didn't actually get more expensive, y'all. That's what this guy is saying. Things didn't actually get more expensive.
Hey, gas got very expensive. I can tell you that.
No, I mean, it was a hoax, man.
Huh?
No, it was a hoax, apparently. Things didn't get more expensive.
All right. I will say, though, that Biden, and not just Biden, Kamala Harris, the whole Democrat Party, I say they're unconstitutional. Because, and I would say that Trump is slightly unconstitutional as well. Because, Trump shouldn't be, I think if you're born here in America, you're a citizen. Boom. But then you look at Biden and the whole Democrat Party, and they are anti-First Amendment, and they're anti-Second Amendment.
How are they anti-First Amendment?
Well, we have Tampon Tim, and he's the one who wanted to censor hate speech. He wanted to go, you can't say something hateful on social media. And, hey, he ran a whole campaign on that, which is, of course...
Sir, social media doesn't fall under the First Amendment.
But Tampon Tim wanted to do that.
Donald Trump literally just had a federal injunction against the First Amendment. He literally is freaking jailing people for saying things that he disagrees with. He's literally kicking press people out for asking them questions he doesn't like. Donald Trump is literally the embodiment of going against the First Amendment.
Well, I'm not really a Trump guy. I'm more of an Elon Musk person. I'm going to be joining the American Party.
Then why don't you listen to Elon Musk when you say when they says that Donald Trump is shit?
Well, I would say that Donald Trump should cut more spending, and I would say that Donald Trump is a little bit on the arrogant side, and I would say that Donald Trump, I mean, he's just an old fart like Biden. He just needs to get out. And I'd say, like, it kind of needs to be capped off at some age, but I think it should be up to the American people to decide that.
Yeah, but sir, what I'm saying is you're saying that you're not a Trump guy. Again, it sounds like you're defending Trump quite a bit right now for not being a Trump guy.
Well, all right. I defend Trump over Kamala Harris and Joe Biden because all right, you put it on a scale, I hate both parties, all right? I'm for labor unions, which is anti-Republican, but I'm also for the Second Amendment, which is pro-Republican. Now, I put the Second Amendment up above all of them.
Donald Trump passed the most restrictive law against the Second Amendment in the last 16 years.
What did he pass?
The bump stock ban.
Oh, the bump stock ban.
Yeah, Donald Trump also very explicitly said that he thinks that we should take away guns from people before due process is that it's time to go. Donald Trump said that. And again, just like you stated, the Obama had a short term where he actually had, the majority in both. I think it was only like 6 months or something less than that or something like that. And then Biden, and then Obama
Biden
also
had a majority for 2 years.
No, he didn't.
He had a majority for 2 years. Yes, he did. You can look it up.
Okay, I'll look it up.
From 2021 to 2023, Biden had a majority in the Senate, and he had a majority in the House. Only after the 2022 midterms did it change the House to Republican. But Biden still had a Democrat Senate all up until the 2024 election. I know that to be factual.
All right, let's take a look then.
You can look that up. You can research that. That's factual right there.
Yeah, right here. I just put up on this. I'll put up on the screen for everybody. However, the Senate supermajority only lasted for a period of 72 days while the Senate was actually in session.
Oh, that's bullcrap, man. That's bullcrap because I know for a fact that I don't have numbers on me, but I can say that under the 2024 election, did it switch, and it was all over the news.
Yeah, 72 days.
72 days? All right. How did 72 days happen when
I believe it was awaiting a special election, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly.
What?
It was awaiting a special election.
It wasn't that close. It really was.
Yes, it was. Actually, literally, the majority was actually just Kamala Harris being the deciding vote. That was the majority. That I remember very, very specifically.
All right. Listen, majority. So, who was the majority leader in? All right. So we had a majority leader in the Senate, who was, I believe, was Schumer. If I'm not, Chuck Schumer. Here we go. 2023 to 2025. Chuck Schumer, a Democrat, was a majority leader. How the fuck can you be a majority leader for the Democratic
Party? Sir, why are you hollering?
I got it right here. Who was the majority leader for 2023 to 2025? Who was it?
Sir, I already pulled it up. Why are you screaming?
Hey, why are you lying? Because for
Sir, I not only wasn't lying, I already put it on the screen so everyone could see it.
What you put on, your misinformation sucks. Who was the majority misinformation sucks. How can Chuck
Sir,
Schumer
if you don't stop yelling, I'll hang up the phone. Please stop screaming.
Hey, I'm right. You're wrong, bozo. 2023 to 2025, Chuck Schumer was the majority leader. So let me ask you this. Why can Chuck Schumer, a Democrat, be the majority leader when he's a Democrat? And, hey, according to you, the Republicans were the majority.
I believe the House got taken over. When was the House?
You just said the Senate just a minute ago.
Well, that's what it said on here, sir. Again, I don't know why you're hollering.
Then why did Chuck Schumer why was he the majority leader?
In 2023.
Hey, you can look it up. Look it up. Chuck Schumer was the majority leader in 2023.
Yeah, sir. I don't know why you're hollering. 2023 Speaker of the House was Mike Johnson.
You were wrong.
Sir, 2023, look up the Speaker of the House.
And I can look that up, but
and who was the Speaker of the House, sir?
Kevin McCarthy was the Speaker of the House.
And Kevin McCarthy is what?
It was Kevin McCarthy.
And Kevin McCarthy belongs to which policy? Which party?
Hey, I know he was Republican, but let's talk
so
about
therefore Joe Biden didn't have a supermajority, you ding dong.
Yes,
Stop
he did
screaming.
for 2 years. Hey, Bozo, from 2021 to 2023.
Would you rather me do what you do? I can do what you do. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. Admit it. You're wrong. You're wrong. Is that, see how that's not helpful to the conversation whatsoever? Okay. So, sir, when I talked about the Senate being in majority,
You're wrong.
Sir, will you listen? Cool.
Yeah,
so when we talked about the Republicans only having the Senate for 73 days, that was prior to 2023, sir. Okay. 2023 is when they took the House. Before that, they had the Senate. And you just said Chuck Schumer was the majority leader from 2023 to 2025, okay, which would be after the Republicans took the House.
Now, we're talking about that 2-year window for Biden, which was 2021 to 2023, correct? Now, January of 2023, Kevin McCarthy became the Speaker of the House.
Sir, why are we arguing about this? I really don't care. Like, literally, I've already proved you wrong on both. I've literally proved you wrong on both of them.
2 years.
Sir.
No, I wasn't. But the leader was, in the Senate, was Chuck Schumer for 2021 to 2023, and Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House for 2021 to 2023. Biden had a 2-year window, not 72-day window.
Okay, sir. So I've already proved you wrong and put it on the screen for everybody. So I don't know what you're really hollering about. What's the point of this?
Speaker of the House. Chuck Schumer was the Senate majority leader.
Yeah, sir. Let me ask you a question. How many votes does it take to pass something?
It takes a majority, which would be 51 in the Senate.
No, that's only for requisition bills.
What?
Yeah.
A majority takes something to pass.
No, a supermajority requires 60 votes, sir.
A what?
A supermajority requires 60 votes.
No.
Why don't you go ahead and get on your little Google machine and look that up?
All right. I actually got to go right now. But hey, good talking to you. And I'll see you on the other side. It was not nice talking to you.
You yell a lot.
Good day.
So anyways, yes, for a couple years, it was a 50-51 vote for requisition bills. You can pass certain things, but you need 60 votes for most policy decisions and laws because that's what the U.S. law says. So you can holler and scream all you want, but Joe Biden did not have a supermajority, nor the ability to pass anything that he wanted because that's not how our system works. Really don't know why he started screaming. H&M, thank you. Ham, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Said caller doesn't understand fiscal bills and is a low info voter. Well, I think we kind of figured that out right there on the end pretty well. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys would like support, again, I super chats are a great way to do it. They do help me to keep doing this every single day. I really appreciate that. Also, make sure you check out my link tree. It has my my pay links in there. It has my Discord in there. It has all the fun stuff. So if you'd like support, that's a great way to do it also. But if you do the super chats, I like to put them up on the screen. We get to put them up and talk about them. It's really, really fun in between callers. So I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Oh, is Thick who just said, "Don't fall for the rage bait. This man is disingenuous and wants you to engage in his trap." Okay, man. I want you to engage in my trap by literally pulling up evidence and facts and Googling everything that last caller wanted me to Google and putting it up on the screen for everyone. That's how I trap you guys. I trap you with my facts. Got 'em, guys. More importantly than anything, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. I trap you by Googling the things that you tell me to Google and put it up on the screen to prove you wrong. It's a devious plan. I've been working on it for a long time. It's a devious plan. I get you by literally looking up exactly what you asked me to look up and then putting it on the screen for you. Hello, how are you?
Hi. Are you the streamer person?
Yeah, how old are you?
I actually just turned 18.
Awesome. So do you support Trump?
I support a lot of what he has been doing. There's been a
What year were you
couple of
born?
things like the 2007.
All right, awesome. So why do you support what Trump is doing? Because honestly, like, shouldn't you be, I don't know. What do you support that he's doing?
So one of the things I saw that I didn't agree with when Biden was, like, not Biden, when Kamala was doing his whole thing, or her whole thing, I didn't like how Kamala treated the border when she was VP.
Kamala Harris isn't in charge of the border as VP, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, Kamala was in charge of the border, I do believe.
She was not.
You sure? Because I thought that that she only visited twice, and
well, that's okay
like,
because she's not in charge of the border. So if she didn't visit what she's not in charge of, so what?
Can I research this real quick?
Sure, you should look up. Here's a good way to look it up.
Double-check?
So the Republicans went to go impeach someone because the border was such a problem. You should look up who they impeached. I'll give you a hint, or tried to impeach. It was not Kamala Harris. That's your hint.
Let's see here. Let's see. What's a good resource? Let's see. Well, Congress said that she said that. So Congress said that the border czar Kamala Harris for failing to secure the United States borders whereabouts. And then
Who did they impeach? Is what I asked you.
Oh, who did they impeach?
Yes, for the border problems.
I don't know about that. So do you want to tell me?
Yeah, it would be Secretary Mayorkas, who's actually in charge of the border.
Okay.
Yeah. So when they were trying to impeach someone for the border, they went after the person who's in charge of the border, which would be the Secretary of Homeland Security, which would be Secretary Mayorkas. Yeah, that whole border czar thing is something that was just made up by the Republicans because ridiculous. Because we don't have czars in this country. We live in a democracy, not an oligarchy that or whatever, some type of authoritarian regime that requires czars. That was a complete made up misnomer because Kamala Harris had one little thing to do with with immigration, which was not anything at the border. And so Donald Trump again needs to make up lies about immigration in order to try to win elections because he doesn't actually stand on anything.
Okay. So do you believe that illegal immigrants should be over here?
Do I believe it morally?
Yeah.
Morally, I have no problem with undocumented migrants that are already here. I think we need to make sure that we have stronger border protection so we don't have more coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say though that actually I'm surprised that you agreed with that. I was so ready.
Why would I not agree with that? Biden agreed with that. Kamala Harris agreed with that. They all agree with that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, just like a lot of people I know don't normally agree with that. I do believe that we should have stronger borders. I do think that we should have like a more quicker system and thorough system with getting other people into our country legally.
I agree.
I'm just trying to think here. I will say though, I am really happy that I know that ICE has been like going to people's workplaces, which I don't personally agree with because if like an illegal immigrant comes here and instead of doing illegal things, they decide to be hardworking and pay taxes and everything. I believe the people who were already here, I do think that, they're already contributing to the community, so they should stay here. But
I agree.
I don't agree with, yeah. But what I don't agree with is, in some cases, illegal immigrants, because they don't have green cards and because, it's very hard to find working jobs without getting deportated. And I know this because my friends, families tend to know other illegal immigrants, and they talk about this, issue. But what I don't agree with is that when people come here illegally and then go to work for illegal areas because they can't get a proper job. I know that they can't get a proper job, but I do think that I'm sorry, I'm word muttering.
You're fine.
This is my first time in doing all of this. So I do think that we should start, so I don't agree with the fact that because people don't have proper workplace to go to, and because people have to figure out a way to support their family, they end up working for, marijuana farms and everything. And so there was actually an incident not too long ago where the left side, I believe, was saying that some kids were being taken away from their family, when in reality, I think that there was a couple of farm managers of a marijuana farm in the U.S. and several people were being forced to be in labor, or forced to labor there. That is what I don't agree with. I know that, I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked the stats again, but I think that around 20 or 30% of illegal immigrants end up making a crime. And I do believe that those people should be deportated because they're not making a constant tribute, and they're only causing harm for the community entirely. And plus, on top of that, there's a lot of rape and stuff, especially at the border. There's been so many so many rapes, and it messes with me because I'm a rape victim and I don't agree with that. I also, just to clarify, I don't agree with the Epstein files or whatever, how Trump is handling that. So I've always kind of been in the middle. I do agree with some of Trump's policies, but I don't necessarily agree with all of them. I just think that having either both sides of the information is very important. I don't know. What do you think?
I think you did just fine to me. I will say that,
Okay.
I will say the one part that I will say. One, you sound like a intelligent, young woman, and you'll be fine. I don't need to debate you on any of that stuff. You're smart enough where you'll figure it all out on your own. Okay. It sounds like you actually research things and you actually try to pay attention to things that are actually going on. And so if you keep doing that and actually sticking with the facts and the realities of what's going on, you'll be just fine by the time we have an election where you're voting at. Just keep doing that and keep researching what you're actually looking into. I will say this as somebody who has been a victim supporting Donald Trump in any way, shape, and form when he was literally found adjudicated to sexually assault a woman, who brags about sexually assaulting women, who has bragged about sexualizing his daughter and doing horrible things like that. I would say that, just any support for that type of person is pretty horrific. But outside of that, I think that, you are in a state where you are learning and you are trying to find good information, and you are trying to see things objectively. And I have no problem with anything that you said specifically. Little things here and there, but there's no reason to get into debate with you. I think you need to keep researching and keep doing what you're doing, and I don't want to discourage that. So that you're good in my book. Sound good?
Yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
The other thing.
Well, I'm going to get off the phone with you. I am going to move on to the next person, but I do appreciate you coming up,
okay.
and thank you for being here. All right.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. We're going to move on. I'm not. For you guys who've been watching me for a long time, you guys know I don't like to debate with people that are that young usually, because especially ones that are very smart. Like, she'll figure it out. She'll be just fine. There's no point in discouraging her. She'll be just fine. Hey Liz, how's it going? Hey Liz, how you doing? When Germany's politics frustrate me, I come here to feel relaxed, invest into your jet ski. Thank you so. Oh, I do. This is the second one. We got to go into my jet ski fund. That's right. Thanks, Halis. I appreciate that. How's Germany doing? Love you guys. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Frost King says people who pay to hate are still supportive. Hey, that's the way I see it, Frost King. You can come up here, like yelling about, paying super chats for Trump. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. But thank you so much. Speaking of that, thank you, Yazin, who just said Trump daddy. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. It says Trump daddy. And Taurus, welcome to becoming a paid member. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you join the Discord and make sure you guys show that you're a paid member in there too. And that way you can get into the channels there, which we really do need to add some more stuff to. I think I'll work on that tomorrow. I think we really need to add some more stuff to the paid member side of my Discord. So I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for the super chats. I really appreciate that. If you guys like support, I do have super chats open, pay links are open, all that fun stuff. You guys do help me to keep doing this every day, so I really, really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much. Also consider becoming a paid member. That's always really awesome. But yeah, more importantly, make sure you hit that follow button, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Queen V, I saw you over there on Twitch. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and make sure you turn on those notifications. I really appreciate that also. Hello, how are you today?
Oh, sweet. I made it through. I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing well. How old are you?
I'm 26.
Awesome. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do actually.
Awesome. Why is that?
Well, besides the fact that he's our president, in my personal opinion, I think his heart's in a good place. He's working, working pretty hard. So why not support someone, give him the best shot at the presidency?
His heart's in the good place. When has Donald Trump's heart ever been in a good place?
Okay. So I know the pretty common arguments, some people will say he's a nebulous character. And, for the most part, when he talks, I think he's genuine. I don't think he's the most intelligent person ever, but I do think he's pretty genuine when he speaks. So, for example, well,
genuine doesn't mean that your heart is in a good place. You can be genuinely an asshole. Doesn't mean that your heart is a good place. But I'd like you to explain to me how ripping freaking food benefits and medical benefits away from people, the most needy people in the United States, is your heart being in a good place.
Okay, that's sure. You're talking about the big beautiful bill, I assume?
Yes.
So, as far as what I understand, the food and medical benefits, they added a work requirement of 20 hours, I believe, a week, right? And
there was already a work requirement. They just added to the work requirement. And really, the more add came into just proving that you had a work requirement and decreasing the times on it, which should estimate between 10 to 17 million people being ripped off of medical, away from their medical care. So why is that a good thing?
Okay. And again, I don't agree with it 100%, but I have other issues with our medical system other than that. I think medical care is just too expensive in here in general. I don't think it should be subsidized. I think it should be made cheaper. But
I agree with that. But
yeah.
I agree with the fact that it should be cheaper, but how is that Trump in a good place? How is him taking food away from people's mouths and ripping away their medical care, him like being good-hearted, as you said, or whatever you said close to that? His heart was in the right place.
Yeah, your heart's in the right place. So I believe the general idea behind it is you have these people, a lot of people don't work. A lot of people just don't work, refuse to work. And the work requirement, 1, requires you to be able-bodied, and 2, requires you to not have a child, I think, under the age of 12 or 10. So you have if you have kids and they're little, you have a little toddler. I have 2 kids of my own. You're fine as far as that goes. But as far as if your kid's in high school, middle school, you should be able to go and get a part-time job. At the end of the day,
so, again,
the government's not there to take care of you, right?
Already work requirements. The work requirements just got harder to prove. Okay. So that already existed. And it's less than 8% of people that are on Medicaid that don't work already and don't fall out within those exemptions. That doesn't even qualify the rest of there's more than that are getting their health care ripped away.
Yeah, and again, okay, so you're talking about as far as the work requirements pulling it away, because I also believe there's the, and I apologize for whatever, I'm going to mess this up, I'm butcher this, but the healthcare market, right, for the subsidized healthcare, as well, that's being defunded quite a bit. So
I'm sorry, what?
So there's two sorry, changes.
Did you just switch away from Medicaid and go into like?
I'm saying because they say that they have estimates about however many million people will lose coverage. A large portion of that's from the work requirements. A large portion of that as well is the premiums or the prices for the whatever subsidized health care going up as well as part of the big beautiful bill.
Well, let's make it clear that these added work requirements aren't going to like have people going back to work. Arkansas and Georgia have already both tried exactly what the federal government was doing, and the unemployment rate in those countries, in those states, didn't decrease. Yeah. It actually went up, right? Oh, and yeah, the unemployment rate actually went up, but at the same time, thousands of people lost healthcare in those states because, again, it has nothing to do with their ability to work. The majority of people that are on Medicaid are already working. The overwhelming majority.
Yeah, I understand that. Trust me, I have again coworkers that are a part of Medicaid, and they discuss their not happiness with the changes. I guess I could say.
What's even worse about the Medicaid cuts is the hospitals and nursing homes that are going to be put out of business because they rely on this Medicaid, right? And that's the even scarier thing. There's over 300 rural hospitals that are planning to close just off of this bill, because people in rural areas, usually like a large majority of them, tend to be on Medicaid.
Yeah, because of the low income, right? Rural areas tend to have really low income. You're talking about $12,000 homes, that
exactly.
type of area. But where I would go with that, with it being in the right places, it's just a way to, I guess, choke some federal spending, because we do spend a lot on just healthcare and in general in our country. It's just super high. So again, do I think it's the right approach? No, but do I understand the methodology behind it? Yes. And again, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with it 100%. I think it's just more expensive. I think, either finding a way to make either subsidized government, medical education, medical school shouldn't be $200,000. If I break my leg, the hospital shouldn't be even charged, $2,500 for an ambulance ride, and then the people driving the ambulance, you can pay what, $16-17 an hour.
Sir, I agree with school being cheaper. That's a leftist policy. Okay.
No. Leftist policy is subsidizing schools. I don't think schools should be subsidized. I think it should be cheaper. So, for example,
the subsidy thing is just the one that they've been kind of allowed to do.
They've been pushing. Yeah,
they've been kind of allowed to do it. If you actually looked at left policies, I didn't say democratic policies. I said left policies. Left policies are for schools to be public education to be free or very, very affordable.
Yeah, okay, but here's what I would say. So I do listen, I listen to a lot of like what Bernie Sanders say and stuff, and I agree with some things, disagree with others. But for example, are you a fan of Bernie Sanders at all? I don't know where you stand with that guy.
I like Bernie. Yeah, he's fine.
Okay, so for example, Bernie Sanders has said, pretty much we need to make sure that our government, our taxpayers, pay for medical school because we have a shortage of doctors in this country. Yes, we have a shortage of doctors in this country, but if we're tax paying for medical school, we're paying $200,000 out of our pocket in taxes, tax income for each doctor, and that doesn't make any sense. You look at Cambridge, you look at
it feels like you're picking out like one little part of the problem, and then you're saying like, oh, if we just do this part, like Bernie Sanders doesn't just talk about making medical school for free. He wants to increase school benefits for across the board, right? And it's not just it'd be a subsidy type of thing.
He wants to socialize things.
Right. He wants to socialize things, right? But when you socialize things like that, then the price goes down. It does it inherently. That's the whole point.
Not necessarily.
No, it's
socializing.
Well,
socializing does not fundamentally make something go down.
It does when you're talking about public school. It does when you're talking about school. When you're talking about public schools.
Not necessarily, no. And in fact, I have plenty of data to prove it.
So
go ahead and Google?
So I'd like you to explain this to me, and we can Google whatever you want afterwards. I'd like you to explain to me this, okay? If California is in charge of paying for the schools owned by California,
yes.
Okay, how would the prices stay high if California is paying California?
Okay, ready?
Sure.
The prices stay high because California would pay exorbitant prices and salaries out of taxpayer money to go towards schools, officials, and programs that are exorbitant, essentially, right? Now, I believe you look at the superintendent of Tapie Joint Union High School District. Look at his salary in, I think, 2022. He cashed out all of his paid time off, and he got about $300,000.
Okay.
I mean, $300,000 for being a school superintendent. You look at the salaries of a lot of the teachers in California, a lot of high school teachers in California specific. Other states would have been a horrible example. But California specifically, we're spending $20,000 per student per year, okay? Now, if I send my child to a charter school, unsubsidized, I'm paying out of pocket around $6 or $7 grand a year. So if I send my kid somewhere private, I'm paying $6 or $7 grand. The taxpayers per student per year in California right now is $20,000 for a public education that is the bottom of the barrel.
Hold on.
You look at the quality of California's
K-12
education, it's horrible.
That's a lie.
Yes, it absolutely is.
No, they're not. And
Go ahead and Google
Sir,
the
I can
quality
pull
of
up
K-12
multiple
education.
different stats. I don't need to Google it. I've looked up these multiple
not
times.
the colleges. California public education, K-12.
Sure, you want me to pull that up? That's not a problem.
Very low. In efficiency, yes. Go ahead. Give me a second.
Mm-hmm. Yep, California ranks in the middle of public education. California rates by state, world populations.
California's K-12 math performance ranks around the 30th to 40th nationally. With a consistent
Sir, I didn't
lag
ask
behind
about
many
math
other
rates.
states
I'm
in
looking
math
at overall
proficiency.
rates, and I can see it right now. They're middle of the pack.
Because, okay, whatever your search is, you look up math, and you look up English, and you look up sciences. Look up these.
So you're
fundamentals
trying
of
to pigeonhole the
education.
conversation into specific topics when I'm talking
How is
about
that a
education as a
pigeonhole
whole.
conversation? Okay, the thing is, if you look at the middle of the pack thing, 'cause I've looked at that as well. What that says is like, oh, as far as the education, it's all right, but they have.
Sir, I don't know why we're arguing California's education.
Program.
I don't know why we're arguing California's education when the entire point is just that what Bernie Sanders believes.
The idea is when you socialize things, it doesn't make it better.
I didn't say that socializing it would make it better.
You,
I didn't say that socializing would make it better.
problem.
I didn't say that socializing would make it better. That wasn't even my argument.
You said socializing makes things cheaper. California
Socializing
is more
public
expensive.
schools would make it cheaper per student. Yes, it would.
No, I just proved you wrong. I said, look,
No,
look
you
at
didn't.
the average private school tuition per student per year in California versus what the state pays per student per year.
Yeah, but
The
we're not
state
talking about
pays
just
more
California,
than
sir.
your
Can we look up
median
that same
private
data in
school.
Massachusetts?
One more time.
What's that same data in Massachusetts?
Massachusetts, it might be a little. Massachusetts is what the second.
What
most
about
expensive state
Michigan?
to live in. Michigan, it'll be a lot lower. Michigan, it'd definitely be a lot lower.
Yeah.
But
So
again, use the
you're
example of
cherry
California.
picking California and saying that is the proof of something when I'm not talking about just California.
Well, I use California because, again, I'm from here, so I know the data very well. I've worked in the school system here, so I know that very well. And so from that lens, I can see perfectly how expensive schools are here.
Sir,
You know what I mean?
I don't doubt that
nothing.
California is more expensive when it comes to school, considering California is the richest state by a long shot, and it's one of the most expensive. Oh, really? It's not. Gotcha. So which state has a higher GDP?
Median income? Or are you talking about? Because the mean income in California is not the most by a long shot.
I wasn't talking
States
about
like
median
Hawaii,
income. I was talking about GDP.
GDP, because California has a huge population.
It does have a huge population and makes a whole shit ton of money.
That's like comparing Mexico to like El Salvador and saying, oh, Mexico is a lot richer of a country because it has more people.
They are.
California having more people doesn't mean that it needs to be more expensive. That's a completely horrible
Sir,
argument.
I didn't say anything about expensive. You're just changing the subject every time I talk. Every time you speak.
You said
every single time I try
education-
to tell you anything, you're just changing the subject to something different.
What you shared was that education in California can be more expensive because California is the richest state. What I'm saying.
No, I'm
is
saying
that the
everything
15
in
rich-
California is more expensive, okay? Because there's a lot of rich people in the state because the median income and the median household income in California is much higher than most states. The cost of living is more expensive in those states. You guys have a huge influx of rich people coming into the state, which is causing a lot of poor people to leave the state of California, which is very true. Okay, but cost of living is just genuinely freaking high in California. So it does not surprise me that the cost of education is higher in the state where everything else is more expensive. That is what I was saying. That's why I don't know what you're arguing with me.
Well, that would be something I would chalk up to. I would say Donald Trump's head is the right spot. You know what I mean? He believes he's working on the best he can do. I would say someone like Gavin Newsom, however, his head is not in the right spot. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean at all. How is Donald Trump heading in the right direction with education?
Okay, as far as education goes, he wants to bring God back in schools. I think that's an amazing thing. I think all of our founding fathers believed in some type of God. None of them were outwardly atheists. Some have been speculated to have maybe been atheists. Our currency as in God we trust for a reason. We are founded on monotheistic principles. I think that's a very good thing. Donald Trump has said
we were also founded on the freedom of religion in this country.
Yes, the freedom of religion, but you do realize when the founding fathers made that statement and when they were working on the Constitution, what they were talking about mainly was that they left Europe for, religious persecution, a lot of them, for being things like Puritans, for being things like Catholics, for being things like, Jewish, whatever they were at that point. But they were still all monotheistic.
They were monotheistic, but just because they were monotheistic doesn't mean they wrote the Constitution, and the Federalist Papers pretty much prove this. Did not mean in any way, shape, and form they meant for it to be a Christian nation and to have that freaking control of religion within the state. I will agree they were deists on the most part, and I can agree with that. And the majority of founding fathers were deists, but just because they were deists does not mean that they created our system in which to be a deist nation.
Okay. One, I wouldn't use the word deist. I'd use the term Abrahamic.
They
actually did. I would say all the
founding fathers used deist. So
I know they use that term, but I would say in a more I guess modernized way, you could say Abrahamic would be the most specific way to put it. Of all of the religions, they shared an Abrahamic religion. So
yeah.
But what I would say is that
by that case, Islam is an Abrahamic religion, so therefore we should bring Islam back into schools.
Islam is an Abrahamic religion, that is true.
Yeah, so we should bring Islam into schools, is what you're saying, right?
God of Abraham, so putting in God we trust or whatever, that's fine. Allah is God, God is Allah, that's totally fine.
Gotcha. So we should bring Islam into schools, correct, sir?
What's up?
So we should bring Islam into schools, right?
No, but we should provide a safe
No, we had to, because you said it's Abrahamic gods and they believed in the Abrahamic gods, and you want to bring God back into school, so we should just bring the Islamic God into schools.
If the Islamic God is the same God as Abraham, that's fine. But what I'm saying about that is specifically, we don't need to bring Jesus
make schools Islam again, according to this caller.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that God or monotheistic ideas are fine, especially if it's non-specific. For example, we don't need Catholicism, Judaism, or Islam in our schools, but a general monotheistic principle of saying, in God we trust, one country under God, are two different amazing things to do.
I completely agree, and I will 100% fight all day long, okay, to have that one God be the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. I believe in the Spaghetti Monster, and I believe in his power, and I'm a giant Rastafarian. And so therefore I am monotheistic because I only believe in one God. And I think that God should be taught in schools. I think that we should have it all over the place. There should definitely be flags up in schools and all of the religions, all that. And actually, I know people that are part of TST. That was actually a big argument that was going on in Florida, and how freaking religion should be put back in school. And TST, and since they are, they are the satanic temple, right, should also be a part of that, because that would also be considered monotheism.
The thing is, like I say, you bring God in school, it would be something as simple as, again, people say that the Ten Commandments in classrooms. I have no issues with that. That's an Abrahamic belief. Islam, people that are Arabic, Islam, Ten Commandments exist. Judaism, Ten Commandments exist. Christianity, Ten Commandments exist. That's something that'll, I would say, 60-70% of the world. No, because India exists. Well, of the monotheistic communities of the world, the vast majority of the monotheistic communities of the world believe in at least one of those three, either, Allah, they celebrate God, they celebrate
Sir,
Jesus,
I really don't give a shit, to be completely fucking honest with you. Okay, I understand that Islam is the highest growing, the largest growing religion in the world. I am very familiar with the religious studies on all of this stuff. Making it sound like for some reason we should put religion back into schools because our founding fathers, who also very much believed in slavery, thought so, is ridiculous. Should we bring slavery back just because the founding fathers believed in it back then?
Okay, and this is where we get into the argument of temporalism. Now, the thing is...
No, we're not getting into an argument of anything. I'm asking you if you're making an argument that's saying because the founding fathers were deists or monotheists, as you like to call it, we should be then putting things back in school, that we should be able to implement things within our society just because our founding fathers agreed on it. Then I would ask the question, do we now just implement everything in the United States based off what the founding fathers believed in, and therefore they believed in slavery, so should we bring that back also?
No, okay. And again, with the slavery thing, that's an interesting discussion to have. We could say, for example, we had a few amendments that stopped slavery from happening, helped out with equal rights and everything. And do we need slavery back in schools? Absolutely. In our country? No, we don't. But the thing is, we already pretty much reached a consensus about that. Now, how that consensus was reached, I think, was pretty bad, in my opinion. It was essentially the North holding a gun to the South saying, hey, you know what, we're ratifying this constitutional amendment, and it is what it is. But, I mean, we gotten that, and to the point now where, again, everybody agrees now that slavery shouldn't exist. However, teaching God in schools and stuff like that, it's actually more of like a 50-50, 60-40 issue. You look at any polling, and people aren't going to be against it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so if it's a 60-40, 50-50, 60-40 issue, then we should just not do it. Sounds easy enough to me.
That's a fair argument. If you think 50-50 is a not, I think 50-50 is a yes. That just comes to personal preference.
Well, here's what I do know is that schools that within our society that are already trying to put God back in church, states like Mississippi and Oklahoma who are trying to add like 10 commandments to inside those classes are literally the states in our society that rank the lowest in education. They rank the highest in things like teen pregnancy. They rate the highest in things like poverty, or lowest in median household income. Literally, the states right now that are trying to do exactly what you say are the states that are failing amongst the United States. Those are actually the same states that are also subsidized by California, which you had such a problem with earlier. But so obviously adding God back into schools isn't really helping much.
No, and again, I think that's called the confounding. Adding God to a school or the religious presence doesn't mean teen pregnancy goes higher. Those can be separate but equal, and it's because you find a coincidence doesn't mean that one causes the other. Correlation doesn't equal causation. I mean, you learn that in statistics.
Yeah, correlation does not equal causation. I completely agree with you. But the thing is that these schools were already on the bottom end of things like education and highest on teen pregnancy and things like that prior to them adding 10 commandments in. And instead of trying to fix their systems, they decided to put God in instead. That's not a causation versus correlation. That's an understanding that these places don't actually care about education. They don't actually care about the well-being of their citizens. They care more about God being in their schools than actually fixing their education system to begin with.
Okay, that's an interesting argument, and I would argue, and I would forward, pretty strongly that we have this education system, and those states have their education system that is affected by the people that are running it, the teachers, their staff, and their students and students' families. Now, as we know, and again, you mentioned teen pregnancy, right? Teen pregnancy is a great predictor for divorce. It's a great predictor for poverty, and it's a great predictor for bad education. Teen pregnancy is huge for that, okay? So we look at that, and we say, okay, now, is the bad education because of the teen pregnancy, or is the teen pregnancy because of the bad education? Let's go back here a little bit more.
The second one.
So we can say that, and I would argue that the two don't have to do with each other. From what I understand about the area, and again, my family's actually from that area, is that in the South, and what you're talking about, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, a lot of these communities are religious, and because they're religious, they don't teach their kids at home what should be taught at home. Sexual education isn't taught very well over there, actually.
Agreed.
Sexual education, using protection, and all of those things, which I agree with. I don't believe it should be taught at schools. I think it should be optional, but I do believe they need to be taught no matter what, period.
Yeah, but the problem is that in places where they try to put religion in school, it's not taught. And coming from somebody who went to a completely religious school and went to Christian school his entire life, it was not taught to me whatsoever, because that's what happens when you add God into the situation. When you start adding freaking monotheistic religions, especially Abrahamic religions, into the education system, especially when we're talking about sex education, the entire sex education completely consists of don't have sex. Because the Bible says so, okay? Close your legs, like they like to say, or keep it in your pants, or whatever you say. The entire sex education revolves around just don't do it, and what it doesn't teach is actually the education behind it. But these are side effects, and this is not like a causation versus correlation argument. These are side effects that are directly related to adding things like religion back into school, and it's especially harmful when it comes to things like the fact that, I'm an atheist, my daughter is being raised an atheist, and so therefore it does not have any religious beliefs. Now, there are groups within her school, because I do live in the South, where religion is allowed within their schools, and I have no problem with them having their groups and allowed to do that, allowed to have their Bible studies or whatever they want, right? I have no issues with that. But when it comes to the actual education, I think that we need to teach science. And science doesn't teach things like the earth is 6,000 years old or creationism. Religion does. And those are the things that get added into school when you add Christianity back into it. And I find that to be a big problem. I also want to go back to address another point that you said, because you're talking about like the founding fathers and in God we trust in the currency and stuff like that. That actually wasn't true whatsoever. I don't think the first like in God we trust was on any type of currency until the mid to late 1800s. And I don't believe, so that whole like in God we trust and it's on the money and all that sort of stuff was not even a founding fathers thing.
Yeah, no, I meant, as far as, historically with our country. The founding fathers were all monotheistic, except for a few founding fathers people could argue, weren't. They could say, they seemed skeptical about the church. You could argue that back and forth all day. But I would, what was your other argument? I had a rebuttal to it. I just forgot what it was. I apologize. Dang it. There's something else you said first. You shared, religion in school. Now, I would argue that there are plenty of ways to scientifically, justify the Bible. I do it all the time. I do Bible studies, and I actually enjoy them very much. And, because of my science background, I love sitting there and thinking about the quantum physics and stuff behind the Bible, and I think it's kind of fun. For example, are you familiar with, time dilation?
No, and nor am I having a scientific religious argument because that's not what I'm doing right now. But
okay,
I have no
will
to have that.
The general idea is science and religion, they can go together perfectly fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's fine. I'm not diving into that right now. So,
but our president, I think he's trying his best. Again, I don't think he's doing anything malicious. I think, he has a reason for everything he's doing. I have a few things I don't like about what he's done. For example, I don't like what he did with how he's treating Canada. I think Canada hasn't done much to us. To deserve such harsh treatment. As far as the EU, go for them. They kind of suck. They have been suing our companies a lot. Suing Samsung, suing Apple. Samsung doesn't matter. Who cares about them? Suing Apple, suing Microsoft, doing all this crazy stuff, getting on us about our social media companies and our outlets and our power bricks and stuff like that. Yeah, sure, go for them. I don't mind that. But Canada didn't deserve it. I'm not saying he's perfect. I think his heart's in the right spot, probably. And again, I'll support him for that, And again, do I agree with the Epstein file thing? No, but did I agree with Biden because of it? No. Either of those people, I don't really agree they're all doing the perfect things. But I think, unless you find something he's doing that's objectively evil, why wish for his presidency to be nothing but awesome?
Yeah, it's objectively evil to send people that committed no crime to a torture prison in another country. That's pretty objective. So I have no problem finding that whatsoever.
How many people?
How about this? This is an evil one. How about deporting a child? A stage 4 cancer patient without their medication. Objectively evil. I don't even believe
they brought back?
I don't give a shit if they're brought back. The fact that they were left without their medication whatsoever is evil.
I believe that was an administrative mistake, and that kid was brought back.
I don't care if it's an administrative mistake or not. As soon as the kid was found out to have had cancer, they shouldn't have deported him. But that's what happens, right? There's tons of things. I don't believe in evil because I don't believe that's good. But I can talk a lot of things I find morally reprehensible about Donald Trump, including the fact that he was found, civilly liable for sexually assaulting someone, the fact that he sexualized a 10-year-old, the fact that he sexualizes a daughter. There's all sorts of many, many things that I find morally reprehensible when it comes to Donald Trump. And the fact that he even got to this point where he became president whatsoever is really kind of just like a moral craziness as far as I'm concerned with the president. But I have been talking to you for about a half an hour, so I am going to move on to the next caller. But okay. Hope you have a good one. All right.
Okay. Take care. Have a good one.
Bye. By the way, no one's made a comment about my shirt, which I find reprehensible. It's like one of my favorite shirts. All right, we're gonna see if we got any super chats during that we can throw up. I really appreciate that. Tobin, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, after 10 seconds of Googling, I found the average cost of private school is 16 to 22 per K and 18 for public schools. Yep, that actually makes sense. I didn't even think to look that up because honestly, it sounded kind of ridiculous, but I do really appreciate that. Thank you so much for looking that up for me. And W's the chat for Tobin for the super chat. I really, really appreciate that. Oh my goodness. I have been on for almost 3 hours. Should I call today? I don't know. Should I call today? Sell it as a merch shirt. I can't sell this as a merch shirt because it's not my shirt because I bought it from somebody else's merch. So that would be, I'm pretty sure some type of copyright violation or something like that. W's the chat for Tobin for that. I really appreciate the super chat. All right, guys, if you guys would like to support the live, I need I'm getting really close over here to the view count that I wanted. If you guys would like to support the live, I do have super chats open. I really appreciate that. If you'd make sure you are hitting that sub button, I really appreciate that. Just like VFR, who says worst live on YouTube. Check that out. That's pretty impressive. That is an award that I could get. Worst live on YouTube. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Polymerch is in my link tree in my bio. But I am looking for a new company because I'm going to switch away from the company I have. Mostly because I want cooler hats to be able to use or whatever. And so I want to... because I want cooler hats. So I want to be able to create better hats. And I found some companies that do it. So I'm going to do that. But I really need to work on that. I've been super, super busy lately. Whoever said debate me on Discord, I don't debate on Discord. So don't join my Discord trying to debate. I will immediately kick you out and block you. My Discord is for my community to hang out and talk and find out a whole bunch of stuff, which is also in my link tree, but I won't try to debate you in Discord. So that's a waste of my time. All right. No, I think I'll call it quits for the day. That's what I was thinking. Just to be nominated for such a prestigious award like Worst Live on TikTok is really just an honor. It's really just an honor. Yeah, I've been on for about 3 hours now. So, yep, time for me to call it quits for the day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to try to be back on right around 3 again tomorrow. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Make sure you guys hit that sub button. Make sure you're turning your notifications on. It's like 75% of you that are subbed don't have notifications on. It's wild. Turn on notifications so you see my stuff. And go watch my latest video. All right. Love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.